Welcome to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host with the most. My name is Michael Marcanio. I'm here with my co-hosts. On the left, we got Tyler Ravelis, also known as it's your boy T. Bang bang, shigarang, ling-a-ling-a-ding-dong. On my right, we got Andre Navarro.
Yo.
You can find Andre Navarro on Twitter at TweetsByDre, or you can find us all on Twitter at AVG Fantasy Football. Those links are in the description down below.
3 E's though.
3 E.
Someone beat me with the actual spelling, so I had like
Tweets by Dre. That's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a action-packed episode, fun-filled. Season 3, episode 48. We got matchup breakdowns. This is week 2. We're going into week 2. Love that. Can't believe NFL started. Makes me happy. I'm a happy camper. I like it.
Yep.
So this is going to be all the morning games. All right. That being said, if you want to see any other games that have us covered, oh my God, I'm doing it again. This is a repeat of last time. Can't get words out. This is a long episode is what I'm trying to say.
I like turtles.
It's a long episode, and during these longer episodes, it's really important to take advantage of the timestamps in the description down below. If you want to hear a certain player that we talk about, we go through each matchup, and we'll go through the teams individually and go via the running back, wide receivers, that kind of thing. So if you want to hear us talk about David Montgomery, you just go in the timestamps and you can click on Bears, and then you navigate that way. It's a little easier way to get to what information you need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if there's a player that you want some information or insight on, and maybe we didn't go too far in depth into that certain player for you, just hit us up, write us, and leave us a comment, and we'll get back to you and tell you what we think and feel about certain player.
Unless it's like a dumbass question, then we won't respond.
Unless it's silly.
Yeah, like something you should just know better.
We did our first Thursday Night Football live stream last night. It was very successful. We had
great success.
It was great success. We had a lot of people in there. It was really fun. It was more chill. It was one of the more chiller podcasts that we do. I don't even think we're releasing it as a podcast. But if you ever want to catch us live, we're going to 100% be doing these Thursday Night Football live streams. You can watch the game with us and get, just chill and ask us some fantasy questions in there as well. Yes. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on all these different apps. All these links are down in the description below. If you haven't left us a review on the Apple Podcasts app yet, go ahead and do that, man. Seriously, it really does help us out big time, and we appreciate it. But if I'm not forgetting anything else to cover in these intros, we can step right into it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
All right. So for this first matchup, we got the Giants are taking on the Chicago Bears. We'll start on the Giants side of the ball. We always go quarterback, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and then whether or not the defense is the move. So let's start with Danny Dimes. Are you starting Danny Dimes this week?
I am not starting Danny Dimes. I know he had a pretty decent game at home Monday night against the Steelers, but now he's on the road in Chicago. I'm not doubting Danny Dimes. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Definitely a good streaming option in better matchups down the road, but I think there's just better options for players or quarterbacks you could start instead of Danny Dimes. So I will be fading Danny Dimes.
Yep, me too. I'm not I'm not looking to start him. He's more of a QB2. I mean, their O-line, they look good. I mean, he looked good. I'm not mad at him, actually. I mean, he played well, but I feel like they're going to try to get Saquon more involved. But, yeah, I'm not playing him.
All right. We can move on to the running back. This is quick and easy. Saquon Barkley. You drafted him number 2 probably. You're starting Saquon.
Yeah, you're starting him. I know he didn't have the good game on the ground. At least got you 6 for 60 through the air. Obviously the rushing wasn't very good, but that just shows you how good that Steelers defensive line is. And obviously I think the Giants offensive line is going to be something that's going to struggle throughout the year. But yeah, you're starting Saquon Barkley.
Yep. Okay, we can move on to Sterling Shepard.
Shep.
You're starting Sterling Shepard. Darius Slayton was the guy last week, but
depends what kind of league you're in. I mean, he's maybe a flex, or I don't know. Some people are in like those 3 wide receiver leagues, and then they have the flex. Maybe I'd consider putting him at flex. I mean, 6 targets, 6 catches. Golden Tate's going to be playing. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Probably not. But, I mean, if I were to, that would be in the flex.
I mean, are you out of all the Giants receivers? I would play. I feel like you got to play Sterling Shepard over these other guys, but I don't know.
I mean, for me, I think Golden Tate. He's been practicing in a limited fashion, so he's questionable right now. But it looks like he's going to be on track to play on Sunday. So if all 3 of those receivers there, then I'm pretty much just going to rank them all as like a wide receiver 3 because it's just so hard to really dictate which receiver is going to kind of boom and which receiver is going to be like the beneficiary of scoring the most fantasy points over there. So yeah, if all 3 of them play, to me they're just all wide receiver 3 flex guys at best. But here's the thing with the wide receiver position, it's just so deep that it's like there's a lot of other better matchups for other wide receivers that I personally would want to go get. One thing I could say is that if Golden Tate is out, then I would probably boost Darius Slayton up. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because they both came into the league at the same time, Darius Slayton and Danny Dimes. Maybe, when they had the rookie training camp, they were practicing with the 2s mainly, because at first Danny Dimes was behind Eli to start last year. But they just have this connection. They just have this rapport. So, yeah, if Golden Tate is out, then, yeah, I feel a lot more confident in starting Darius Slayton. He's like the home run guy. When Danny Dimes goes deep, it's Darius Slayton.
For sure. Yeah, and he showed it again. 2 tugs. Look good over 100 yards. I mean, is he going to do that, all the time? No, but he definitely looks his way, and they, like you said, they have a good rapport. They connect. That was a dime right there. So yeah, if like you said, if Tate's out, then I would be leaning towards Slayton also.
There you go. I think that's a good way to put it. All these guys are kind of like wide receiver 3 options: Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, and Sterling Shepard.
And there's Golden Tate.
Yeah. Okay, then we can move on to the tight end, Evan Ingram. I feel like Evan Ingram, man, he seems to disappoint week in and week out, or season in and season out. But do you think he bounces back? Are you going to start Evan Ingram, especially if Golden Tate doesn't play?
I mean, his upside is what makes him intriguing. I mean, he can go off at any minute. I mean, the Bears they contained Hawkinson pretty well. I mean, he got that touchdown. But it was like it's like a 3-yard touchdown. So I mean, he did all right. I mean, he had 7 targets, but only 2 catches for 9 yards. So I mean, 7 targets for a tight end is solid. If he can do that again, I would expect him to do more. So I would take him just based on upside.
Yeah, he's like a back-end tight end 1 for me right here. I mean, still played 94% of the snaps. Like Dre said, 7 targets. That was top 10 amongst tight ends. So if you're getting 7 targets as a tight end, you like that. And he ran 43 routes on Monday night. That was the 2nd most routes ran for any tight end. So, I mean, the guy's on the field. He's running routes. He's getting targeted. Yeah, you don't like seeing only 2 receptions for 9 yards or whatever it was, but the opportunity is there. He's kind of a boom or bust tight end. And, with how thin this position is, you got guys like Kittle going down. Yeah, he's a back-end tight end 1. So you're starting Evan Ingram.
You heard it here first. Start Evan Ingram. All right. How about Giants defense?
No.
Yeah. You don't think Mitch Trubisky could throw a couple pick sixes, a little sneaky?
Oh, man.
Possibly, but I don't know. I'm still not. I don't think I'm playing Giants defense after last week.
They look like doo-doo.
They don't look good. Okay, let's move on to we got the Chicago Bears. It's in Chicago, by the way. Mitch Trubisky. You starting Mitch Trubisky?
I would not be starting Trubisky. He's like a QB2. I mean, he's a potential streaming option depending on who you have. I mean, puts up 3 touchdowns. Obviously, we said it in last week's matchup that, he, for whatever reason, he just owns the Lions. He always has a good game against them. He always throws for 3 touchdowns against them. I know he got 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, but, hey, fantasy points are fantasy points.
Crazy.
It doesn't matter when you score them. But, yeah, there's just better options there. Potential streamer, QB2.
Yep.
With it.
Yep.
All right, we got David Montgomery. Do you trusting the David Montgomery show this week?
I mean, running backs are.
I'm starting him in a double flex option.
Yeah, I mean, they're more at a premium. I mean, there's not many that are going to get as many carries as he is. I'd start him, but I mean, what was alarming: 3 targets, 1 catch, whatever. He had 0 red zone touches. So I mean, granted, they really weren't in the red zone until the end of the game, but I mean, 13 carries isn't also that much, but that's still alarming. He didn't get one red zone touch the whole game. So still starting him, but I would just keep my eyes out. I mean, hopefully that improves. I mean, it can't get worse. So
yeah, I mean, he's still the red zone goal line back there. I know last year he was, one of the best or one of the highest in terms of, carries inside the 5. It's definitely not Tariq Cohen who's going to be the red zone back over there. I mean, he's a low-end RB2 flex option for me right here. It was just nice to see, like I said, they didn't go out and get Fournette, when he was available. They didn't go get AP. They didn't host Devontae Freeman. So it's like they're confident in David Montgomery. And I think the groin strain, him missing, the practices, they were just being, cautious with him. They didn't want to re-aggravate it or make it even worse than what it was. I think he's skated away from a potential serious injury, and it's going to be minor. I mean, he gets you 13 carries for 64 yards, so 4.9 yards per carry. That's not bad. And we just saw Benny Snell just gash this Giants defense on the ground. I think you see a lot more Dave Montgomery. I mean, he only played 45% of the snaps. I think that number jumps up because he was probably on a pitch count due to the groin injury. So I think that number jumps up until maybe like the 60% range. Probably some goal line carries. And then the number that Dre said right here, 3 targets. That was actually more than Tariq Cohen. And when you think about, they were behind, the Bears are behind. Cohen's more of the scat back, receiving back. And David Montgomery actually got more targets than him. I know it's only 3, but still more targets than Cohen. Yeah, I do like David Montgomery. And I think, you're going to see more of him this week against the Giants.
Ooh, said it here first. So, flex option, running back 2, where would you rank him? I'd say flex.
Flex, yeah.
That's where I would.
It just depends on your
upside,
RB depth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you have
for
2 solid running backs, obviously you're going to start those guys better. For instance, just in one of my lineups, I have Kenyon Drake and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I'm starting those guys over him. But now I had Kenny Galladay as one of my guys in my starting lineup. He's out now. So now I have to move one of my flex receivers into the receiver spot. So now I have an open spot in my flex. Now I will move David Montgomery into that flex slot because I just think the volume and the opportunity of 15-plus touches, goal line work, that's through the roof. And like I said, Benny Snell just gashed this Giants defense on Monday night, and I think David Montgomery can do the same.
Sounds good to me. All right, Tariq Cohen, you starting Tariq Cohen after all that talk on David Montgomery getting more targets. I think you're going to fade Tariq Cohen in this one, or what?
PPR, I'd still start him. Flex, I mean, like T said, it depends on the layout of your team. If you've been hit with the injury bug, I know people that have Le'Veon and Galladay, so it's like it all depends. But if you're one of those, I would go for it on this game.
Yeah, he's
upside.
He's a PPR flex guy at best for me.
Yeah, exactly.
If not, then he's probably on your bench. He's just more of a depth kind of, a bench guy for you right there. And then when we hit these bye weeks, then you'll probably be playing him a little bit more. But for me personally, he's just more of a flex guy, if you're in a double flex league or something like that.
For sure. All right, we can move on to Allen Robinson. What's the status on Allen Robinson?
I guess him and the Bears made up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was that breaking news. He removed all the Bears hashtags. He deleted all the Bears photos from his team because he's in a contract year. I think he wants to get an extension, or maybe he just doesn't want to be there. Maybe he wants to get traded. Who knows? But
not a bad call.
Yeah, but you're starting Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting him.
Yep, starting. Nine targets last game. He looked good. He's happy.
I like it. How about this guy, Anthony Miller? You starting Anthony Miller?
I'm starting it. I'll start him at my flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of those, but he's got that upside. He's been looking good. I mean, I know we were talking in the text since like week 12 of last year. He's looked solid, and I mean he's getting healthy and he looks better and better. I mean, I would no higher than my flex, but he's somebody that I would definitely put in.
Yeah, for sure. Wide receiver 3 or flex guy. Like Dre said, I have him in 2 of my leagues, and he's going to be my their double flex league. So he's actually one of my flexes in each of those leagues. So yeah, I like the upside there. I mean, the passing attack moves through Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller.
All right, then we could go Jimmy Graham. You starting Jimmy Graham? The old you said you're faster than Jimmy Graham, right?
I am faster than Jimmy Graham, at least in this point of our careers or age.
Yeah, he looks pretty.
But he had a good game. I think he had like 5 catches. He got a touchdown. But for whatever reason, the Giants, they limited Ebron to only 1 catch. I think Vance McDonald didn't do anything. So maybe it's just that one game. Maybe that wasn't the game plan, the Steelers to get their tight ends involved. But I'd be fading Jimmy Graham. I mean, I guess if you have George Kittle and you're kind of scrambling. Like, I have Kittle, because the news broke a little bit before we started recording that George Kittle from the 49ers, he's going to be out. So if you have Kittle and you don't have like a backup tight end, maybe you go to the waiver wire. If Jimmy Graham's the best available option, then you kind of have no choice. At least you know that he's got the potential upside of getting a touchdown.
Yeah, so no one's that Lions fan. We're always going to refer to him. He had 3 catches, but what was weird, he had 2 drops. He had 3 red zone targets. So that was a number I liked for like you said, someone gets hurt, someone like Kittle for sure. But I would pick him up. I think I picked him up in one of my leagues off the waiver just in case. But it's more for bye weeks and shit like that. Just in case he gets hot. Someone, like you said, rather be a week early than a week late. So
just a good depth move.
Yeah, I'm not going to start him, but he's someone just keep an eye out. I mean, 3 red zone targets I'll take that.
Yeah.
The touchdown upside. And, like, I know we touch on it a lot of times, especially when we talk about Greg Olsen, I feel like, maybe just because he has that touchdown upside with Seattle. But, I feel like if you don't have one of these top-tier tight ends, you're kind of just trying to find a tight end that has that touchdown upside any given week. And that's obviously, said three end zone targets right there. I mean, yeah, you like seeing that for the tight end position.
For sure. We got Bears defense.
If you have the Bears defense, I'll dial them up at home against the Giants. I mean, we saw how bad that offensive line was. I mean, I know, Dre, you said at Danny Dimes, how many fumbles did he have? I think he had more fumbles than touchdowns almost, right?
24 or something like that. 20. He was a lot. He didn't obviously last year.
Yeah, 19
or 19. There you go.
Yeah. So Danny Dimes, prone to fumble the ball, and the Bears got this guy named Khalil Mack, so he's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he'll just slip up, throw a pick.
It wasn't 19 fumbles, was it? It was 19 sacks, or was it 19 fumbles?
He fumbled.
He led the NFL.
Danny Dimes did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to clip that.
All right.
For somebody.
That being said, throw the Bears defense in. All right, we can move on to the next matchup. We got the Rams. You got to do it for. Oh my god, chill. Sound like you're gonna break the mic.
I had to do it. For which mic?
The Rams are taking on the Eagles in Philadelphia. We start with Jared Goff. Are you starting Jared Goff?
I'm not starting Goff in this one. I'm a little bummed out because I was hyped on Goff, and I think there are better days and better games ahead for Jared Goff. But you don't throw a touchdown for me in Week 1. I can't feel confident throwing you in my lineup for Week 2. I got to at least you got to give me like a prove it game for me at least until I can throw you back into my lineup. I mean, he's on the road in Philly. So, yeah, I'll be fading Goff in this matchup right here.
Same. I have him. I'm starting Phillip Rivers over him.
Yeah, hey, good call. Me too, dude.
By the way, I don't know why. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there.
But, no.
QB2.
Yep.
QB2. All right, we can move on. Malcolm Brown. You start Malcolm Brown? You almost feel like you have to after last week, but it is a different matchup, though.
He looked good. I'm going to start him.
I didn't watch the game, but you cannot deny, 18 carries, 3 receptions, got the goal line work. So, yeah, I mean, until I see otherwise that, Cam Akers obviously got 14 carries, but until I see otherwise that Malcolm Brown doesn't produce, yeah, I mean, you have to, right? And maybe they do want to kind of, instead of being such a pass-happy team, maybe they want to lean a little bit more 50-50, kind of run the ball, throw the,
I mean, it was like this. It was like Cam Akers gets it on a third set of downs, and then Robert Woods, and then it was like Malcolm Brown on another set of downs. That's what it seemed like, right?
But, I mean, I remember. We were watching it together. Their play calling was like bad though. It's like here comes a run of Akers. Like they were very predictable. It wasn't.
Yeah, they like every Cam Akers play was like
a run
just,
up the
just
gut,
straight up the gut, and then it was like Malcolm Brown. They had all these like
stretch plays.
Yeah, they kind of gave him these dope plays versus Cam Akers got kind of just like, hey, yeah, try and make something happen. Yeah, I don't know. So that being said, you're starting Malcolm Brown.
Is it like a low end RB2 right there? Potential flex guy.
Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
So Cam Akers, what do you do if you have Cam Akers? Are you starting him?
Man,
because like after last week, I kind of want to fade him, especially against the Eagles. I don't like the matchup as much, but so yeah, I'm not starting him in the leagues I have him in because I have him in a decent amount. I'm not going to start him this week. I'm going to wait it out and see what happens, but I still have hope for him in the future.
Yeah, for me, I'm not starting Akers right here. I mean, you probably got him in the later rounds, so he might be your third, potentially fourth running back, so you don't need to start him. The only scenario where you would need to start him is if you went like a 0 running back strategy and, maybe he was like your second running back off the board. Then you kind of just like you're forced to thrust him into your lineup. For me, he's kind of just like, you leave him on your bench. You kind of just see how this Rams offense unfolds as we go on throughout the season. But, yeah, for me right now, he's on the bench. We saw it was the Malcolm Brown show, and he got the 2 touchdowns. I mean, now if Akers comes out and he gets 2 touchdowns this week, for all you know, then obviously it just makes things even more complicated. But, yeah, until I see it, he's going to be on my bench.
I will say they did give him carries, though. It's
not
not
like 14.
Yeah, which is
carries.
like, we just talked about David Montgomery getting 13 carries. This guy got more, so the carries are there. So don't if you do have to play him, I mean, he's going to get carries.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're not going to draft a rookie in the second round and then bench him off of one game.
For sure, yeah.
You know
I'm in a super flex league, and I'm starting him at flex 4 though. So there you go. If you're in a super, and the only reason now is because Galladay's out. Because I had Scotty Miller at flex 4, but now I gotta move my receivers up. So
I feel it.
So there goes. He's my 4.
Yeah, that could be a scenario right there. I mean, you get some of these players who are out. You got Galladay's out. Chris Godwin's doubtful. We'll touch on them. So yeah, I mean, you might be forced to throw him in there. But like you just said, Mike, if you are forced to throw him in there, at least he's going to see. He got 14 carries last game. I would assume he's going to get another 10 to 12 carries as a floor.
Yeah.
And hopefully he does better. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, hopefully he puts him on some of those motion plays we were talking about instead of just running up the gut.
These dry ass plays.
We can move on to Cooper Kupp. Some people asked us some questions on who to start, and it was like a pick 2 out of 4, and Cooper Kupp is one of the guys you picked. What do you think, Tyler?
I mean, Cooper Kupp was when we did the sell high, buy low segment. Cooper Kupp was my buy low guy. Only 4 catches for 40 yards, so not the greatest. But I mean, to me, he still has the highest touchdown upside out of any of these Rams players. Woods, Higbee, outside of the running backs, obviously. So yeah, I mean, you're still dialing up Cooper Kupp right here. You said that you would not have started him. Was it just out of those certain players that the guy asked us about?
I think it was just those players. I can't remember what it was, but
I wonder what I said. I forgot. But
yeah,
whatever.
He's a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I would start him.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, feel good about starting him though. Yeah, I know he didn't have the best week 1, but
the Goff touchdowns will come. I mean, if he doesn't throw another one this game, then goddamn, then maybe not. But yeah, Cooper Kupp's talented enough to be definitely starting.
And that's Jared Goff's boy.
They paid him money. They paid him. He's getting paid $16 million a year. So you don't pay someone like that if you're not going to incorporate him into the offense.
What he said.
I feel it. All right. That being said, you're playing Robert Woods.
Yeah. What do you call him? Bobby Trees.
Bobby Trees.
Listen, you're playing Robert Woods. All right.
Man, he was getting
the whole passing part of the offense just seemed to just all go through Robert Woods last week. So I think you could feel very confident in playing Robert Woods.
Man,
yeah, I think
he's
Robert
Woods
Woods
set it and
forget it.
Yeah, seriously. Wide receiver 2, you look it up in the dictionary, and it's like him.
With wide receiver 1 upside.
Well, exactly. Yeah. If you can, like in the phonetics, that's what it'll say. Wide receiver 1 upside. It's like
all right.
Bobby Trees.
That being said, we can move on to Tyler Higbee. You starting sitting? I think you're starting Tyler Higbee.
I mean, you know me, I'm not the biggest Higbee guy. I just don't think he's going to produce those 100-yard games back to back like he did at the tail end of the season last year. But with that being said, I mean, he was out there a ton, running routes a lot. So yeah, I mean, if you drafted him, you most likely only have Higbee, and I can't imagine you have Higbee and another top tier tight end. So if you have Higbee, you're probably starting him. Like I just said, me personally, I just wasn't a Higbee fan. I got him in 0. I have 0 shares of Tyler Higbee. But if you got him, I guess you're going to start him.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to start Higbee?
Nope. I'm not going to start him. I'd rather start like a Jonnu Smith or somebody else. Or just I'm good.
I
just want to see Jared Goff.
I'd rather go Jonnu Smith, especially with no A.J. Brown. He's been ruled out. So, but like I was saying, if you drafted Higbee, though, most people, they just drafted Higbee and they're thinking like, oh, well, I have this tight end who's a stud, and now I have no one else. So at that point, I mean, you have to start him. But would you have him outside of your top 10, top 12 ranking? Would you put him as still as a tight end one is what I guess what I'm saying.
For one more week, I guess, like reluctantly, like 12.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just because it's the Rams, we're hoping that their offense looks better the second game, but it's more like he's on the – like if you look at his name, it's like red with like an arrow going down. Like right now, he's going down.
He can't do any worse than Austin Hooper. Hooper.
He really pooped himself.
So you want to – look at that. Threw a line in there.
Yeah, look at that. Nope.
He's a low-end tight end one for me.
Yeah.
Low end
For
tight
sure.
end one. Like that. Okay, Rams defense. You starting Rams defense.
Oh, I'm dialing up the Rams defense. This was when we did the waiver wire episode, Mike. We said this was our, or for me at least, I'm sure you probably agreed with me, but this was our one of our favorite streaming defenses of the week. I mean, we just saw how the Washington football team just destroyed this Eagles offensive line, 8 sacks. And then now you get Aaron Donald and the Rams. I mean, if you've seen some of these highlights of Aaron Donald in Week 1 against the Cowboys, who have a good offensive line.
Oh my God! What was that one play when he just
bulldozed
bulldozed two linemen
guys.
at once,
He's just throwing
and then
guys
he
around.
Then he gets a sack. It was
Carson Wentz is going to be seeing a lot of Aaron Donald. So I'm definitely
Carson
dialing up the Rams in this.
Actually, you know what? Some people, the homie Rayner texted me, and he sent me a screenshot of his waiver wire. He's like, "What defense should I play?" And I said, "Pick up that Rams defense."
Los Rams.
Same time, dude. Garnal. Yeah.
All right, we can move on to the Eagles side of the ball. It's in Philadelphia. We got Carson Wentz. That being said, against the Rams defense, no great O-line. Are you starting Carson Wentz?
He's a QB2 for me. He's outside of my top 12. Like I just said, he's going to see a lot of Aaron Donald. I mean, you get Miles Sanders back. He's 100%. So I think they try to kind of lean on the run game a little bit more instead of relying on Carson Wentz. So the upside's kind of capped for me. So QB2.
I'm actually starting Carson Wentz on the account that I'm actually starting Carson Wentz. He's actually on my team, and he is fucking starting. So, and Lane Johnson comes back this week too. So maybe he can help be not bulldozed by Aaron Donald. I don't know. He's a big bastard. So hopefully that helps. But, yeah, I mean, the Goddard Ertz thing looked good. Another week with the rookies with Rager. Hightower got a couple targets. You still got Deshaun. I think Miles Sanders is what's going to be the biggest factor for him because Boston Scott and Corey Clement, they were terrible. Their yards per carry were bad. They were up 17-0, and they couldn't even milk the clock because they couldn't run the goddamn ball. So I think Miles Sanders is going to help them out in the pass game and the run game, and Lane Johnson's no slouch. So I think he's like a low-end QB1 with I hope he balls for me upside.
Nice.
Guys,
That's what I got.
I got my test results back just now. Negative. Boy's negative.
Breaking news.
Hey,
Boy's negative.
They can't see him.
Yo, COVID can't see me. Bro.
What's up?
What was that from? When
You can't see me, dog.
the anesthesiologist goes up to him and goes,
Yeah.
He's out.
he's out. Running back, we got Miles Sanders. You starting Miles Sanders this week?
Oh, Porcher.
Yep. I show am.
And honestly, just don't cry too much if Devontae Freeman signs there. You know what I mean? But I think you're starting Miles
Dude,
Sanders.
pimps don't cry.
Yeah,
Pimps
don't cry.
Yeah, but players do.
Especially if Eva Mendes is singing to me on her titty like that.
Dude, someone said that in the live stream. They were talking about Eva Mendes.
She's bad, bro.
She is. I didn't even realize. Okay, anyways.
Go watch All About the Benjamins. She's super bad in that movie, too.
Yeah.
Just Google her.
Miami Vice, she's pretty good, too.
Anyways, start Miles Sanders. That's a pretty obvious one. How about Deshaun Jackson? Kind of disappointed. A lot of people were hoping for the upside. Deshaun Jackson.
You go first on this one.
I'll probably trade him to Debo, and then I'm not. No, I'm not. He didn't do too well. I mean, it could be attributed to the O-line problems they had and just overall general they struggled after going up 17 rip. Like what T was saying earlier, I'd rather wait and see with this kind of player.
I mean,
although I like him, I fuck with D-Jax, but just
he's a high risk, high reward flex to me right there. So you're gambling. He's a boom or bust. It's your choice if you want to throw him in there. I personally am not going to have him in there. I think Aaron Donald's not going to give, and this Rams defense line isn't going to give Wentz enough time to really drop back and let the play develop for Deshaun to go deep. Plus, he should see some of Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if he's going to shadow him, but he should see some of Ramsey.
Should see some.
And Ramsey's the best. But so I'd be fading Deshaun right here. But like I said, he's a high risk, high reward flex.
Yayer.
All right, we go on to Jalen Rager.
Rhymes with Yayer. No, again. But it's one of those, they all kind of cancel each other out. It was more of a tight end show. So Miles Sanders coming back, this would be the week where I can start deciding who I like on the team since they have their full team more or less. I don't really care about Alshon and his hurt-ass foot. So, I'm more wanting to wait and see approach with their receivers for now.
Yeah, I'm not starting Rager, but he's a guy you definitely want on your bench. If he's on the waiver wire, like Dre was saying, I'd rather be a week early instead of a week late. Go grab him now, because if he does come out and have a 50-yard bomb, puts up some good numbers, he's going to be at the top of people's waiver list for week 2. But just go grab him now, stash him on your bench. He's definitely someone you want on your team.
I'm more of a John Hightower guy who we don't have to talk about.
Ditto.
That's cool. Okay, Dallas Goedert had an amazing game last week. What you hoping for the return on that as well, like this upcoming week?
Oh, yeah. I mean, after the way he put up those points, yeah, how could you not? Especially with how the tight end landscape after you get past these elite guys. I mean, he finished as a tight end 1 last year
on the low.
So yeah, I'm definitely dialing him up after that week 1 performance.
I have George Kittle in a league, and I picked up Dallas Goedert.
Oh, that's a great pivot move right there.
I would trade Kittle and get some ballers, but whatevers. Whatevers. Yeah, I'll fuck with Dallas Goedert. I would try to get shares. If he balls again, I'll probably try to trade for him. I don't have him.
And listen, and he's about to ball.
He's a baller. Even though he got sucker punched in the face in the offseason, he looks like he's just fine, coach.
Yo, he can smell.
Yeah, he can take a hit. Seen that video. So, yeah, I'll fuck with Dallas Goedert.
All right, start Dallas Goedert this week. Zach Ertz, you starting Zach Ertz? I think
yes,
you
sir.
are. You got to.
So is a frog's asshole watertight?
Probably.
There's your answer.
I don't know. I've literally never heard that before. But
well, Google it. The answer is yes.
Eagles defense against the Rams.
I'm not.
I'm going to fade this one.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, fading that. Let's move on to the next matchup. We got Matty Ice, Matt
Falcons.
Ryan. The Atlanta Falcons are taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Are you starting Matt Ryan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're looking at through 450 yards last game. This is the highest over-under for the week, I believe. So whenever I know me, I know 55. You guys too. You always try to get as many pieces in the highest over-under game of the week as you can. So I think in this game, you're pretty much dialing up every single player that's in this game. So, yeah, I'm definitely playing Matt Ryan.
For sure. I think you're playing him, eh?
Yeah. I am. I sure as fuck am.
Yeah. Todd Gurley.
Fucking love that guy.
You starting Todd Gurley?
Sure as fuck am starting Todd Gurley.
Yeah, you got to start Todd Gurley.
Yeah, you're playing Gurley. I just wanted to touch on some numbers here because we weren't sure how the usage was going to be for Gurley. He's kind of like a low-end RB2 for me right here. He only played 46% of the snaps. I mean, you're still playing Gurley. There's some good numbers and there's some bad numbers. Like I said, only played 46% of the snaps. He did have 3 carries inside the 5-yard line, so he is the goal line back. It's not even close. He had 14 of the 18 rushes for the team, so he's the primary ball carrier. But in terms of like running the ball, routes, he only had 14 routes out of 56 possible dropbacks. He did have 5 targets, but they were chasing a lot. So he's kind of like the upside of where he's on the field, 70%, 80% of the time. I think those days are gone for Gurley. We saw a lot of Ito Smith. We saw some Brian Hill. So, yeah, I think his RB1 upside is kind of capped, but I think he'll be a steady RB2.
Steady RB2. I like it. But I think you can light it. Like you said, over-under, you got to start most of these guys. Calvin Ridley, I think we're all in agreement. You got to start Calvin Ridley.
Hopefully he listened to us and he drafted him because I know we were all super high.
Like Chris Godwin.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Then we got Julio Jones. You're starting him, obviously.
Like
I got him on the same team. I'm starting both.
What we don't have it listed here. We're saying start everybody. Would you start Russell Gage if you picked him up in waiver wire? Yeah, I mean he got 10 targets last week, right? Or 10 receptions.
12 targets.
12 targets.
I would wait. I would pick him up, but I would wait to see how he does this game because they were playing from behind, and who knows if they try to maybe integrate Hayden Hurst, who we'll talk about in a second. So I would pick him up and wait and see. But if he gets 8 targets, I'll keep him and just pick him in or put him in. Whether it comes
depending on the
matchup based. Yeah, bad nickel backs or if someone's hurt and they're playing, the 5th guy up at the corner position, then yeah. Because they pass it enough I think they could sustain 3 guys on occasion.
Yeah, I mean, for Russell Gage, I'm still kind of more on the Hayden Hurst train. I think he was kind of limited due to, being covered by Jamal Adams. I mean, Jamal Adams is an all-pro caliber safety right there. Obviously, they're behind so much. He got 12 targets, Russell Gage, but so did Calvin Ridley, so did Julio Jones. I can't imagine a scenario where he's always up there in terms of overall targets with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I don't know if I'd be throwing my lineup this game. Wide receiver 3. That's what I believe he can be. Yeah,
I'm in agreement with you. I think you wait it out, and like you said, if he gets a bunch of targets again this week, you have a little bit more confidence. starting him.
Yeah, but as far as Hayden Hurst, I mean, maybe I'm just being a little biased. I know it's 1 week. He didn't put up the numbers you wanted to. Kind of all those targets went to Russell Gage. But, I mean, just some good numbers here on Hayden Hurst. Played 78% of the snaps, so he was on the field a ton. And he ran 45 routes. That was the most out of any tight end in week 1. Granted, I know that they were behind a lot and they were throwing a ton, but this should be another shootout as well. And then he also lined up in the slot 57% of the time. So he's not, just a primary blocker. I think he only blocked 5% of the time he was out there on the field. So he's a receiving tight end. Obviously the week 1 wasn't how you wanted it to go, but I'm still, driving that bus or whatever you want to say. I'm still diving in, and I'm starting Hayden Hurst again.
Oh, but yeah, I'd start him too, actually. I think he's going to do better this week since he like you said, he played. The number one thing is you want him to be on the field, then obviously comes a production. So I think this week he'll get like his 70 yards in a tug.
70 yards in a tug.
That's 13.
That's a prediction right here.
I got you.
For your tight end, that's what you like to see.
That's, good looks.
Falcons defense.
No, sir.
Super high over under.
I
think we're all fading that.
Like T said, if there was a draft where everyone had to pick a defense, then maybe.
What did I say? If you're in a 32-team league?
Yeah, 32-team league where you have to – maybe I'll take him 32.
All right. Yeah. Let's you don't want to play that defense because here comes the Dak attack.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely dialing up Dak Prescott. We saw what Russell Wilson did to this Falcons defense last week, and yeah, the Dak attack. I like that. So yeah, you're definitely dialing up Dak. You should have top 3 upside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
Dak
all Prescott.
that. Yeah, start him.
Over under. It's like
Ryan.
55, like you said, dude. Start it. Okay. Let's move on to Ezekiel Elliott. You're starting it. Tony Pollard actually got used in there too. So if that guy's available on waiver wire, I would say that's a good stash. If Zeke goes down.
Yeah, you're definitely dialing up that.
But Zeke, you're playing him. Amari Cooper, you starting him in this one? I think it's the same thing here. Almost, it's like you can start almost all these guys
for sure. So I lost the beer bet. I said that CeeDee Lamb would outscore Amari Cooper in week 1. So
and Daddy said Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I lost that one.
He looked good.
Amari Cooper, he's the best receiver of all the receivers.
But I think you're going to be able to start all these receivers on a weekly basis. I know Gallup didn't have the big game for you in week 1, but I mean, no more Blake Jarwin. So now those guys are going to be on the field a ton. I know CeeDee Lamb was on the field for at least 82% of the snaps. And you had Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper who were on the field even more than that. They're going to run 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receiver sets, more than anybody in the entire NFL. So I think each of these guys you can start every single week. Granted, outside if Amari Cooper's going to be shadowed by a top tier corner, but I don't know if Ramsey shadowed him that game. I didn't watch the game. I thought he was going to shadow him. That's kind of why I was down on Amari Cooper.
No, he did.
He was on him a lot of snaps, but I don't think it was a complete shadow though.
Not complete, but he did. I was surprised. He surprised me with 10 catches.
Yeah, I mean he caught some catches on Jalen Ramsey. So, so you guys are saying these guys are all good, decent options. You could play all these receivers.
Gallup's a flex. CeeDee Lamb's still a flex.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a wide receiver 3 flex guy. The ceiling is through the roof for him. And I said Gallup didn't have the big game, but we saw how his ability to have some big games last year. I think he's still. Like I said, he's going to be on the field a ton. And in a 55-point over-under game, yeah, give me all of these receivers.
For show.
Okay,
then we got Blake Jarwin goes down with the ACL, I think.
They're going to call Jason Witten back, watch.
Yeah.
They're going to get him from the Raiders for
it's
like
the Cowboys defense. They're going to call back Martellus Bennett.
His ass been retired. They should. No, Cowboys, they lost Leighton Vander Esch too. No, I'm good. I'm good on their defense.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got the Carolina Panthers are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll start on the Panther side of the ball. This is in Tampa Bay. We got Teddy Bridgewater. Playing Teddy Bridgewater. I'm going to say
QB2.
No.
Nope. I'm good.
QB2. Bucks defense actually has been looking pretty decent.
Number 1 run defense.
Yeah.
But they were last.
One of the corners is pretty good too.
Yeah, but they're one of the worst pass defense. It's so weird. Hella good on the run and boo-boo against the pass.
I will say.
Like hella good and hella bad. Like it's weird.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, sir.
Nah.
You got to play him. obviously. Curtis Samuel.
I'm not going to start him. I'd rather go with one of the other guys that's not DJ Moore, but I'll leave it to T if he would like to start him.
Nope, I would not. I'll pass that to the trash.
And the trash is full because we just put Curtis Samuel in it. Next.
I mean, you do like seeing 8 targets.
Yeah,
so I mean,
yeah,
if you're
for
in
sure.
a PPR league, and if you're in a 4-flex league like Dre over here,
Super flex.
Super flag.
he's like a wide receiver 4.
Yeah, for sure. So in that case, wide receiver 6.
So Curtis Samuel, and then we got DJ Moore. I feel like you drafted DJ Moore, you got to play him. But I will say that the Bucs do have a corner named Carlton Davis, and if you look into it, he's actually when he shadows, which he doesn't shadow on every single play, but when he does when he's covering these star receivers, he really holds them to like
Minimal numbers.
Yeah, minimal numbers. Like receivers as in Julio Jones, DJ Moore is one of them, Michael Thomas, like good receivers, and he'll hold them to like not very many yards, like under like 50 yards and, a couple of receptions if that.
There you go. IDP, Carlton Davis.
Yeah, so just to know, like, temper expectations if he does like follow DJ Moore around at all. That is a possibility, but I still think, like you're saying, this pass defense isn't that great. So I think somebody's gonna capitalize, and it could be DJ Moore, but it could be this boy Robbie Anderson. But I still think you're gonna start DJ Moore. Like, I have DJ Moore in a couple leagues, and it's like I've thought about even putting Robbie Anderson in front of DJ Moore just because I think that corner could follow him. And but it's that's me getting too cute. I'm thinking too hard. I think you still got to start DJ Moore.
Yeah, if he underwhelms again, though, I'll for sure try to trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I wasn't as big on DJ Moore as all you guys were. I just felt like his lack of touchdown upside wasn't there. And then I also felt like he wasn't going to get funneled a ton of targets and just be the main guy. I mean, we did see he got 8, Robbie Anderson had 9, and then Curtis Samuel had 8. And then, that was even with Christian McCaffrey not getting as many targets as he normally gets. So I think he's more of a low-end wide receiver 2 than like this back-end wide receiver 1 that I feel like most people are drafting him to be a top 12 wide receiver, where I feel like he's probably top 25, but he's like 20 to 25 range for me. But with that being said, you drafted him to be in your starting lineup. You're starting DJ Moore.
Yeah.
See.
But with your boy Robbie Anderson here, Mike, you called it, dude, and you kept saying it, Robbie Anderson, and I know he kind of he hit that big play for like a 75-yard touchdown.
That's how he is.
That's his bread and butter. That's his tea right there. And he played college football at Temple for Matt Rule, so he already knows the system. And Matt Rule obviously likes him, goes out and gets him in free agency. First year as the Panthers coach, one of his first signings in free agency was to bring in Robbie Anderson. So I think that's a guy where he needs to be owned in every single league. Like, he was on the waiver wire. We did go get him, throw him on your bench. Are you going to start him every single week? Maybe not. But he's definitely a guy you need to go get, and he's a good depth player to have. With that being said, I think he's a wide receiver 3. He's like a high risk, high reward flex guy because any given game he could put up 100 yards and a touchdown. He can also bust for you, but he has that.
He's one of those guys you throw in if you're down by 20 in your projections and you want that upside.
Yep,
it's a good spot for you.
Yep, exactly.
So just a thought, flex option.
Flex option.
We got Ian Thomas, the tight end. You starting Ian Thomas?
Negative.
Me neither.
And if you are, sorry, find another one.
Panthers defense?
No, sir.
Listen, Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions last week.
That was the Saints defense.
Good point. All right. Don't play the Panthers defense. We got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Fucking Tom fucking Brady, bro.
Tom Brady.
Fucking Brady.
So for me, he's
bitch.
a back-end QB1.
Yeah.
I might even stream other quarterbacks depending on who's on the waiver wire and how big your league is. If you're in a 10-team league, obviously there's going to be more depth on the waiver wire at the quarterback position here. But, you get no Chris Godwin. He's going to be doubtful, it seems like. That's just a playmaker right there that Tom Brady's going to be without. You can run on the Panthers, and I think maybe they lean on the running game a lot more. So I feel like the upside's kind of capped on Tom Brady. He's like a low-end QB1 for me.
Yep, me too. I agree. It would be, I don't know, it depends on how I'm feeling on Sunday to start him. Probably not, though. I would say like 70% no. on the start.
70% don't put him in. All right.
And he already has a rushing touchdown, dude.
Oh, I got the wrong template. But Leonard Fournette for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you starting Leonard Fournette?
No.
Negative. I mean, just some numbers here because we were kind of curious to see how this Buccaneers backfield will be split up. I mean, you know, we kind of touched on it. I thought it would be split like kind of similar how it was last year. You know, we saw it was kind of split into thirds. You know, Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber, and then Dar Ogunbowale, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, so we kind of figured Ronald Jones would be the main guy again. Fournette kind of taking over as that Peyton Barber role, kind of like the bruiser guy. And then McCoy would be the Dar role as the pass catcher out of the backfield. But Ronald Jones gets 47%. Leonard Fournette only gets 13%. He gets you 5 rushes, but he only gets 5 yards. And he gets you 1 target. He gets 1 reception right there. So, yeah, I can't trust a guy who only plays 13%. And I kind of brought it up when we talked about AP and the Lions. Like, we weren't sure how much he was going to get incorporated. But, I mean, the guy just got there a week ago. AP did. And he played a ton. And, you know, he got, you know, a ton of carries. But then the flip side, Fournette got there a week ago, and he just was not utilized at all, really. So could we see more out of Fournette in this game? Potentially, for sure, because I think they try to ground and pound. I do think the Bucs are up in this game, and maybe they lean on the run a little bit more than they did last week. But if there's one Buccaneers running back I'm starting, it's going to be Ronald Jones.
Do you like that timing on that template right there?
I agree. I was going to say everything you said, actually.
Don't drop Leonard Fournette, though.
I would not drop Leonard Fournette, no.
Hold on to him. Just wait.
Nah.
I think he still will get more incorporated, but that's just, I mean, you don't sign a guy for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, but it was nice to see if you have Ronald Jones. You know, I had him in 2 leagues. I benched him because I wasn't sure how this was going to get split up. I'm throwing him into my lineup right there. He's a running back 2 for me. Played 47% of the snaps, so at least he got half the timeshare when, you know, out of the 3 running backs. And then it's just nice to see. He got 17 carries, 3 targets, 2 receptions, so heavily utilized way compared to those guys. I mean, you have the next guy, McCoy. He was on the field 36% of the times, 0 rushing attempts, and only 1 target for McCoy as like the pass catcher for these Bucs running backs right there.
Or lack thereof, I guess.
Yeah. Ronald Jones is the only running back that I'm playing. McCoy, not even rosterable, and then Fournette, you're just throwing him on your bench until maybe he gets a little more acclimated to the system going forward.
Who scores the touchdown? A higher chance, Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette?
Ronald Jones. He looks good, man. You can tell he gained some weight. He looks bigger. He almost looks like a little Derrick Henry to me, like just a little bit smaller, obviously, because Derrick Henry weighs like 240
Yeah, I was watching some highlights, and honestly, like there were some highlights where he was running the ball, and I'd be like, oh, there goes Fournette. But it wasn't. It'd be Ronald Jones. So, yeah, definitely put on a little bit of mass.
I don't know, dude. I think you got beer goggles on.
Maybe it does.
Maybe wings.
Okay, we can move on to Chris Godwin. So, Chris Godwin, is he out or no? He's
listed as doubtful.
If he plays, yes.
Yeah, if he plays, yes. But it's kind of rough.
Oh, start him. Okay.
He's listed
I was so confused. I was like, is he out? And you were like, if he plays, yes, he's out. That's what I thought you guys were saying. No, I get it. My bad.
Yeah, if he plays, then he's in your lineup. But he's questioned. He's listed as questionable. He's got the concussion. I don't know if he's passed all the steps and procedures of the concussion protocol. So that one's just kind of be like probably a game time decision, depending on how he feels waking up on Sunday morning. But it looks like he's going to be doubtful.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just light him up if he's there.
We'll keep you updated on the situation.
How about Mike Evans?
Yes.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and Arian said he was mad that he didn't get him more involved, or he didn't like how he got him involved. So I'm sure he's going to make it a point to get him the rock, especially if Godwin's out. He can be like top 5. He can, those Mike Evans monster games. He can do that this week. So I would start him. I would expect a touchdown again and more receptions than 1, 2.
Yeah, I mean he bails you out kind of, I guess. Instead of giving you goose egg, he bails you out with the 1 catch for this 2-yard touchdown just to give you some kind of points in your lineup right there. But he did not look good. I mean, obviously, you could tell the hamstring was hampering him. He did not look fast. And then, obviously, when you're getting covered by is it Marcus Lattimore?
Marcus Lattimore,
Lattimore. No. Yeah, Marcus Lattimore. Okay, yeah. Well, Lattimore. And then you got Janoris Jenkins on the other side as well. Another good corner.
Marshawn Lattimore?
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, Marcus Lattimore's a running back.
He should have been good.
Anyway, so, yeah, you got Lattimore and Jenkins who were covering him. He was hampered by the hamstring. So not the best game script or scenario for Mike Evans. But, yeah, I think he has a bounce-back game. Definitely down at Mike Evans this week.
Tell me my boy's on here.
Dial it up.
Is he?
No, he sent me the thing, and I forgot to download it. I'm sorry.
It's in the I emailed you, dude.
I know. I
Scotty
forgot.
Miller
My
for
bad.
show.
But Scott,
There was no fucking flub.
Hey, I started him last week. I'm starting him this week.
it was not a flub. Okay.
I was actually going to start Scotty Miller even if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin played.
So, yeah, that being said, with these wide receiver injuries to these two guys, I mean, Scotty Miller, dude, you called it, Dre.
I like him.
I think you can start Scotty Miller in this one.
So, yeah, I mean, if Godwin's out, let's say you have a Galladay. I mean, Devontae Parker's kind of up in the air. He might not play. Even then, I don't know how confident I would feel playing him, or even Preston Williams, tough matchup against the Bills. If you're kind of, trying to find a flex guy potentially, on the waiver wire, you're just like, man, I just need someone to throw into my flex, maybe my third receiver. If Scotty Miller's out there, you go grab him?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
I think especially in PPR leagues. But, yeah.
I mean, 6 targets. I think he can get up. If he can get up to 8 or 9, I think he's going to catch it. I mean, he caught a deep ball, 38 yards, 39 yards, I want to say. But I think he's going to get that 50-yard touchdown.
The longest pass Brady's thrown in a while, or what?
Yeah, and in training camp, I read he caught at least 3 or 4 deep bombs for touchdowns, and he was frying them. So I think he's going to break loose this game.
For sure.
I think they're going to put up some points. I think.
Yeah, he 5 catches for 73 yards, and that was with Godwin on the field. So if there is no Godwin, then his value definitely shoots up. Scotty Miller.
Scotty Miller. Pick him up. OJ Howard.
No, I'm good.
I'm good on that as well.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with OJ Howard, but just to touch on these tight ends for the Buccaneers. I mean, a lot of people went out and got Gronk. You're buying the name of who Gronk is and what he was, and then you're thinking, oh, he's with Brady. He should be good. I mean, he did play 77% of the snaps. Gronk did. OJ Howard only played 53% of the snaps. But OJ Howard outproduced him in all the aspects in terms of targets, receptions, yardage. Gronk only gets you 3 targets, 2 catches, and 11 yards. That's just not good. So, yeah, I mean, does he have the touchdown upside in any given week? I guess you could say that. But, yeah, I want nothing to do with Gronk. He's got that name value. If you could trade him, I would be trying to trade him just because someone might buy the name value of what Gronk is. Yeah, give me a guy like Jonnu Smith all day, just to name him off the top of my head over him.
Yeah. Someone got roasted in my league for drafting him super early. Bucks defense. I'm not mad at it actually.
So I would consider. I have a good little number here. I mean, Jameis Winston was on the team, but last time they played in London, the Bucks held the Panthers, Christian McCaffrey to 31 rushing yards the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're stout up front. I mean, if that happens, Teddy Bridgewater's going to have a long day just trying to pass on him. Granted, they're not the best, but they're better than last year. I mean, through one game, they did all right. But, yeah, 31 yards for McCaffrey, that's pretty good. So
I think they're a good streaming option. If you're streaming defenses,
yeah,
they're not a bad option to stream.
Yeah. All right, we can move on to the 49ers are taking on the New York Jets.
No on Jimmy G. They were 18% on third down. Jimmy G looked like a bag of shit. And Kittle's out.
This is coming from a Niners fan.
I'm a Niners fan too, for sure. No, I think they're going to run whatever running back's active. They're all going to get carries. It's going to be one of those. Jeff Wilson Jr. might come out the damn woodworks if he's still there.
So Raheem Mostert, are you starting him?
Yeah. To me, the only Niner I want in my lineup is Raheem Mostert. That's it. No Jimmy G. All these receivers are banged up. Debo's on IR. Ayuk might play. I think he has potential to have a good game because he's the only receiver they have, and he could see an uptick in targets, especially the news just broke, no George Kittle. So Ayuk could have a good game, but I don't feel comfortable, kind of like how Anthony said. He's a rookie. It's his first game in the league. He's been banged up. He's been missing practice, no training camp, no preseason games. So I don't feel comfortable throwing Ayuk into my lineup. If he's on the waiver wire and you got a bench spot open, maybe you go grab him and you stash him just so you get him now that a week early instead of a week late if he comes out and he has a big game. But, yeah, it's Raheem Mostert, and that's it.
Yeah, if I'm desperate, I would think about Trent Taylor because he likes him, and he's probably like the only one he'd be looking his way. But that's like if you're like desperate as fuck.
So, yeah, they got 3 running backs, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, and Jerick McKinnon. But I think, yeah, you guys are right. You're not paying.
McKinnon would be another guy if you have a bench spot open. I would go get him, especially because running back depth is so hard to come by. But he looked pretty decent, and like I said, their lack of pass catchers, especially with no Kittle now, we could see an uptick in targets to McKinnon as well. Sneaky DFS play. Jerick McKinnon could probably be right there. But, yeah, if I have a bench spot open, I'm probably going to get McKinnon. I'm just holding on to him to see how he does in this offense.
I like it. All right. Mohamed Sanu's there.
Yeah, they picked him up.
So
I mean, he's a Shanahan guy.
yeah, so I just threw this in here. I know you didn't add it on there, but this is just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's good depth for them. Like I said, they literally have no one. I mean, they've gone out and signed so many receivers. They all get hurt. Everyone just keeps getting hurt, so it's only a matter of time until Sanu gets hurt. It's the 49er curse or something. I don't know what's going on. But
Antonio Brown.
I can't start a guy who just got there yesterday.
Yeah, no. I just threw it in there because it's just some people aren't aware that
it could be a
Mohamed
sneaky
Sanu
guy going forward
for
them because Sanu's still a savvy veteran.
Yeah, I mean, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure he knows part of this playbook. I mean,
so like
maybe the verbiage, but
like we said, George Kittle is out.
George Kittle is out, so you got to pivot, adjust accordingly. Who are just some tight ends off the top of your head that, if they're on the waiver wire, you would potentially try to go out and move to?
Hawkinson, I know he was. If he's there, I don't know. But I don't know.
I think Hawkinson's a good one. I was lucky. I don't know why, but I'm just obviously when we're doing drafts, I always try to draft for value when I get into these later rounds. But I drafted the only league I have Kittle and I have Hayden Hurst, so good move by me right there. Now I can just throw him into my lineup. But I think Jonnu Smith would be a good name to potentially go on. Sure. And then Chris Herndon from the Jets.
I like that.
Jamison Crowder's out. I think he had 13 targets last game. No Le'Veon Bell. I'm assuming the Niners are going to be up in this game. They're going to have to throw the ball to somebody, and especially in PPR leagues. Herndon is 7 targets last week. We'll touch on him when we get to the Jets. But, yeah, it's just a good guy probably to pivot.
But, yeah, so there's a couple options. 49ers defense.
I was going to say Shanahan said Sanu's going to play tomorrow.
He needs him to play.
It's wild.
Well, they called me and told me to play tomorrow, but I have work. I couldn't call out.
He's like, I got to go to the pool, fool. At the club.
How far are we in this? Okay, all right, we can move on to the Jets. Sam Darnold, you starting him?
Negative.
No.
Yeah.
But he has that ability to pop. I just want to see the consistency. That's all. And now Le'Veon Bell being out doesn't help them at all. And Gase, it's Gase. We're just going to blame Adam Gase for everything. So, no.
Frank Gore.
If you're in a pinch, he's starting. And he could see 12 to 15 carries, some goal line work if they get in close. But I would try to avoid starting anybody on the Jets outside of Chris Herndon if you're in a pinch at the tight end position.
If someone would have told me in 2006 that we would still be talking about Frank Gore and AP in 2020, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. But we are, and I would not start him. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if he runs for like 80 yards, because Frank Gore just he has a football gods just like looking over him, dude.
Frank the Tank.
He just always there. He's always around good situations. Yeah. I fuck with Frank Gore, but no.
Adam Gase likes him. So Jamison Crowder is out.
He is out.
So just to let you guys know, you're not
starting.
starting.
Do not start Jamison Crowder. Take him out of your lineup.
So I threw Denzel Mims in here.
He's out as well.
Yeah, he's out.
X his ass. Nope.
He's on the IR.
He gone.
And then Chris Herndon.
I think
I'm not mad at it.
They got to throw the ball to somebody there. Obviously, you have Brashard Perryman, but I'm not sold on Brashard Perryman at all. And we've seen, Darnold and what he likes to do. Jamison Crowder, short little passes close to the line. Herndon, 7 targets. His 7 targets last week. He played 71% of the snaps. And just some good numbers here. He had 7 targets, and he only ran 22 routes. So he's pretty much 1 out of every 3 times he runs a route, he's getting targeted. And now when you have a guy like Jamison Crowder who commands such a high target share, he's not going to play on Sunday. We could see Chris Herndon get 10 targets.
Yeah.
I would start him over like a Jack Doyle, for example, is one.
Yeah, Doyle is out, actually.
Yeah, perfect. So for sure don't start him.
Dude, see, there you go. Well, if they were both 100% the healthiest they've ever been in their damn lives, I'm still not starting Jack Doyle. No, Herndon, Darnold looks his way, for sure.
Yeah. I noticed when you play against really good defenses, too, usually the tight end gets targeted more.
For sure. He's a sneaky athletic dude. Big boy, too.
Big boy.
Okay, then we can move on. Jets defense. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Sorry to breathe into the mic like that. It was, but yeah.
Okay, we can move on to the Denver Broncos are taking on, guess who? The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mike, what do you think?
I think you should fade all these.
Drop all Broncos players immediately.
Yeah, drop them. Don't even think about it.
I'm not playing Drew Lock on the road at Pittsburgh. We saw how good that defense was on Monday night. I'll pass.
Then we got Philip Lindsay. He's got turf toe.
He got a little toe in. Hey,
My fingers hurt.
Hey,
turf toe hurts.
His foot fingers.
Have y'all ever had your toe hurt before?
I have actually. I had gout.
Oh, well, maybe that's a little different.
It sounds grosser than it is.
I know, but that shit was painful.
Dog,
as fuck too.
I hurt my toe, my big toe, bro. That shit is. I never really realized how much you need your big toe until it hurts. Like you can't even stop walking. You're like, ah.
your pinky toe is like a whole different thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Turf toe, like monitor that. That could be a thing. Like
he could be out for a week.
Yeah, remember AJ Green a couple years ago missed like 9 games.
Julio Jones had it too.
Devontae Adams last year had turf toe, and he missed 4 or 5 weeks, I think it was.
Julio Jones, remember like 4 years ago, he had it, and he was out like prime time, like towards the end championship area.
It's no joke, especially. I mean, a running back position, but I would be targeting maybe the next guy, which is Melvin Gordon, which I would start.
Go? Oops. Oh, I don't have him in here. Jesus.
Damn, dog. I just can never do nothing
Philip
right,
Lindsay,
man.
he's out with a turf toe. With that being said, it should be the Melvin Gordon show there now.
For sure. He did good. Other than that fumble,
I don't know if I'd be starting Melvin Gordon this week. I know there's no Philip Lindsay, so it's through the roof, but we just saw what the Steelers did to Saquon Barkley, limiting him to 6 yards on 15 carries.
He had 8 runs of negative yards.
Yeah, and if there's a running back who's better, Melvin Gordon or Saquon, it's definitely Saquon. And now this game's in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I want nothing to do with Melvin Gordon in this game. Obviously, he's going to be on the field a ton, but if I can get away from him, then I would definitely try to sit him this week. But going forward, if no Philip Lindsay's there, then yeah, he's got top 12 upside because he's going to be the workhorse for the Broncos going forward.
No, he's better. He's got more rushing yards than Saquon this year. He's good.
Temper expectations is what we're trying to say for sure.
Maybe like a flex. Yeah.
All right, then we can talk about Courtland Sutton.
He's been practicing on a limited basis these last 3 days. I think he's going to play. I think the reason why he didn't play on Monday night is because the AC joint sprain was a couple days before Monday night, so I think they kind of just wanted to rest him. They didn't want to rush him out there, but I think he plays, and if he plays, he's in my lineup most likely as at least a wide receiver 3 flex guy because, they should be behind. And Courtland Sutton's one of those guys where you just chuck it up to him and he jumps up and he gets the ball over the other defenders. And I think they're going to need a couple of those plays from him if they want to make this game competitive.
Yeah, more of a standard league, I'd be more inclined to play him because, like you said, more jump ball, more catches downfield. He's not a high volume reception guy. So, yeah, wide receiver 3, maybe 2 in standard leagues, depending on how your teams are laid out. If you already have like a Galladay, which I have seen that in my league also. They have Galladay and Sutton. So, in that case, you're probably very thin. So,
I feel like these top-tier receivers
man.
For these all these receivers in this area. A.J. Brown, Courtland Sutton. Yeah.
And I took Stafford because, obviously,
so we got Jerry Jeudy. You starting Jerry Jeudy? I think it's not a bad Our secondary did get burned. And I will say, what side do you guys know off the top of your head, Jerry Jeudy, like what side he lines on?
He actually lined up all over the place. Okay. He was inside slot, both sides.
Steven Nelson, the Steelers corner, the right cornerback, so left side on the Broncos, he's not very good.
You mean on the Steelers?
On the Steelers, yeah.
Oh, how do you know that? You a Steeler fan?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, he's probably like our weakest part of our offense, or our defense. So, I mean, I could see Jerry Jeudy burning. I mean, that was the one play the Giants beat us on was at Darius Slayton, and it was blown coverage. So,
for me,
I'm not mad at it.
If Sutton's out, then I'll feel more comfortable throwing Jeudy into my lineup as like a flex or a third receiver. But if Sutton plays, then I don't want anything to do with Jeudy. I just think that this is a tough matchup on the road in Pittsburgh, and the wide receiver position is just so deep across the board with so many teams that I feel like I can find someone else on my bench or maybe even on the waiver wire. Like, I would much rather start a Scotty Miller.
I was just about to say that. I
read your mind, but I was thinking what you're thinking.
The wave, like my eyes are like tingling.
If Sutton's out, then yeah, Jeudy would be my guy, especially in PPR leagues because I think he had like 5 or 6 receptions for 80-something yards. But if Sutton's in, then obviously that limits his target upside and in a tough matchup on the road. So I'd be fading it because I think there are better options out there.
Yeah, I would take Robbie Anderson over him too.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Interesting.
But no.
Interesting. Okay, Noah Fant. You got to light it up, dude. Was he tight end 1 last week?
No, 3 or 4. Goddard was 1, I want to say.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
This is just it's a matchup. Normally, I'd say with Fant because he looks so good, but man, actually, you know what? I'll start him low and tight end 1.
I was going to say low and tight end 1. It depends on who you have. I mean, I don't know what his availability in leagues are, but if you have a Kittle and he's on the waiver wire, for sure I'm rushing out and I'm going to get him because at least he provides the most upside out of any tight end that's going to be out there.
And Locke looks his way, too. He threw that
depending on who you have, that's what it comes down to. But yeah, like a low end tight end one for me.
Yeah. Broncos defense.
No sir.
I'm good on that.
Nah, I'm good.
Let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben Roethlisberger. I'm starting him in a league.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll fuck
He's
around
at
with
home. He likes to play. He plays good at home.
Huck it, chuck it.
him. Fuck it.
Big Ben.
Suck it.
Back end QB1 for me right there.
Yep. Put him in.
Yes. Yeah, put him in. James Conner. So they're saying James Conner might play.
No, they said he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Yeah, he practiced the last 2 days, and he's not even on the injury report.
Yeah,
so it should be good to go. But with that being said, I know I've said it a couple times. I just can't imagine a scenario where Benny Snell just gets, pushed to the bench after having, 119 yards. He looked really good. James Conner did not look good. Obviously, Conner is the better pass catching back out of the two between him and Snell. But I think we're going to be looking at a full-blown running back by committee going forward. Would you be starting James Conner? I'm definitely not starting Benny Snell right now because I got to see how this goes. But would you be starting James Conner?
I'd rather start Benny Snell over James Conner.
In the flex, maybe, depending on how your team is. But I feel like people don't have James Conner as a flex. They have him as like their RB2.
Yeah.
But I'd be hard pressed to take him out. I feel like the Steelers will still give him some love, and if he does well, I see Tomlin just riding with him if he's being effective.
Here's the thing, though. When they were, go ahead.
No, go ahead, dude.
No, I was just gonna say when they were both healthy during the beginning of the game, and they gave Benny Snell a couple touches. It's like he was just more productive.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah, he did. He looked a lot better.
I mean, it's not like he was hitting like different holes or something like that. He was just being more efficient.
Just being better.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I would start Benny Snell over James Conner.
Yeah.
I know that's like kind of crazy, but
Yeah. I wouldn't start either one of these guys if I can fade it just this week. I just kind of want to see how it gets split up. Because here's the scenario. You don't want it to go out there and then like you start James Conner and then, it is all Benny Snell. And then now you get a dud. And then vice versa. You don't want to go out there and start Benny Snell, but then James Conner's healthy now. Yeah, maybe we do see James Conner get 18 carries and Benny Snell maybe gets like 6 or 7. So I personally would rather just sit back and kind of see how this game gets, divvied up. Broncos defense, they have a defensive-minded head coach, Vic Fangio. So not the greatest run defense, but not a terrible run defense either. So, yeah, I'd be trying to fade it if I could potentially. Maybe you went out and you got a guy like Malcolm Brown. Maybe you got a Naheem Hines. I would feel much more confident throwing those guys into my starting lineup instead of there's just too many question marks for me right now.
Yep. I would just wait
yeah,
and see
I guess
approach.
that's a better piece of advice. Deontay Johnson. I love Deontay Johnson this week. I'm starting him in a flex spot.
I'm trying to almost find ways to put him in, but I would have to take out T.Y., and I think he's going to do well. But I think Deontay Johnson's going to have a game.
Yeah, this was your buy low candidate right here, Joe.
Buy low, do it now because he's about to blow up. Okay?
Hey, fool, he's not going to drop too many punts later.
Don't get caught with your pants down.
Hey.
Yeah, he's a good – you drafted him in the later rounds, so I don't want to say wide receiver too because you probably have two – like you said, you're having trouble finding him into your lineup because you have the depth at receiver was so – there's so many good receivers. But, yeah, I think he's a good flex guy if you want to throw him in there.
Yes, like a solid flex option.
Good trade piece, too. That's kind of why I got him, but I'm starting to like him more than I have him because I drafted him being like, I'm about to trade Deontay Johnson. But I'm like,
but then you're like, better, like, I like
I'm like, maybe T.Y. Hill can get the step in a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Juju Smith-Schuster, I think you're starting Juju.
Oh, my guy. I was hyped. I was just hyped to see him have a good game on Monday night.
He had 4 less targets than
I was the
Deontay.
Juju, man. I was getting mad. I was getting aggressive, defending Juju. And it's just nice to see my guy come out here and put up some good numbers right there.
And he did the dance, who's next? Go,
yeah, how many targets did he get?
Go.
I mean, he only had 6 targets, but 6 catches on 6 targets for 2 touchdowns is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, who's your fucking team anyway, man? What side are you on right now?
I'm on Deontay Johnson's side.
All right, for sure. I'm not mad at that.
You're dead to me, dude. Let me get that Juju jersey I got you.
No.
What the fuck, dude?
He's like, no, it's mine. It was a gift.
There's a bunch of other receivers there, and I will say that they did just rotate everybody in and out. It was like we were having a little preseason game against the Giants.
Yeah.
But
that's fucked
those
up.
are the 2 main guys you're thinking about starting.
Yeah, for sure. Eric Ebron.
I'm not Ebron. No.
Nope.
I am excited to see the future of the year if he gets more and more involved, which I think he will be. But it's hard when you still got Vance McDonald there. It's like I think they got an even amount of targets. So
he needs Andrew Luck.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely not.
Don't start him though. Steelers defense, fucking light it up, bro.
Dialed it up.
Hashtag Avi.
There was no fucking flub.
Hashtag
Send it
Avi.
in.
All right, let's move on.
Fuck it, send it in.
Let's move on to the next matchup. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars are taking on the Tennessee Titans. Does Gardner Minshew run away with it again?
I mean, he's not going to complete 95% of his passes, but man, he's making a push to be that like a QB1. But I'll still wait. Obviously, this
I think he's like, if you want to stream a quarterback, you can. He's a streaming option, basically what I'm saying right here. I'm not willing to put him into that QB1 range. I think there's a lot of good matchups this week for players. But could he be a top 15 quarterback? 100%. So if you want to stream him, I think you can. We anticipated the Jaguars to be down last week against the Colts and for them to throw a ton. Obviously, that wasn't the case. It was a pretty competitive game. Jaguars actually pulled the upset and win. But on the road in Tennessee, I'm expecting a ton of Derrick Henry. He just rapes and owns the Jaguars lately.
Whoa.
So I'm expecting them to have to throw to keep it up in this game. So, yeah, I can see a potential where you want to stream Minshew. Even if you're in DFS, you want to throw him into your DFS lineup. I'm sure he's pretty cheap.
Hey, just breaking news. Bobby Trees just got an extension. 4 years, $68 million.
4 years, Jesus.
Is that more than Cooper Kupp?
The Rams are like the
Yankees.
Yankees.
It is.
The Rams are like the Yankees.
He's getting more targets than fuck Cooper Kupp now.
So, but the Rams are doing it right.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, we got our franchise quarterback Jared Goff. Let's just tie these two guys going forward. That way we don't have to worry about anything, and you just kind of keep the chemistry and the camaraderie of the team together.
A full like organic chemistry or?
Nah, probably. That's smart. They're paying two guys that are like could be they're like wide receiver ones in their own way occasionally, but they're paying a middle of the road money. I mean, Diop got 56 for 2 years. He's gotten 68 for 4. So it's like, I'm sure they're saving money. I'm sure they structured it team friendly, but yeah, it's good to see Bobby Trees. Anyway.
But yeah, Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, no.
Streamer.
Close though. Yeah, streamer.
If you need it. James Robinson.
No, although it was crazy to see that he was the only running back who got a carry.
Yeah, I thought that was a little crazy, right?
We were not expecting that.
Yeah, 3.8 yards a carry, nothing crazy. He wasn't like blowing you away, but it's more the Jags offense as a whole. Like he's not.
By the way,
someone that I would like to have.
I mean, if let's say you have like a Le'Veon Bell,
yeah, I do.
Then he's out, and you need James Robinson on your team though. He's a good depth, good stash on your bench. Maybe you had a Le'Veon Bell and you don't know what to do, so maybe you got to throw him in there. At least it's a guy who should see 15 touches total. Like I said, the thing that really blew us away was the only running back to receive a carry right there. Would you feel more comfortable starting James Robinson or Melvin Gordon? Because I'll go James Robinson.
I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon still.
I feel like that's really disrespectful to Melvin Gordon.
Man, I don't know what it is, and I could be batshit crazy, and I could be completely wrong. But
beer bet, Melvin Gordon, James Robinson.
If they just blanketed, you know what? Melvin Gordon at least has some receiving upside. James Robinson, no receiving upside that we've seen yet. But man, it's just I'm worried for Melvin Gordon this week against the Steelers.
Dude,
hey, Melvin, hold me down. Give me like that Melvin Gordon, like 16 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. You just fall into the end zone at the end.
Good luck.
Okay.
I ain't got to do it. I'm just going to watch the shit.
So you like James Robinson as a flex play?
It's not a flex play because obviously I do like to throw receivers into my flex spot because I feel like they have more upside, and the depth is just crazy at receiver this year. I'm just saying if you have a running back that, like I said, if you have like a Le'Veon and you're in a pinch and you don't have anyone, that's the scenario where you can start him right there.
I like that.
He's probably gonna be on my bench.
Anyways, Chris Thompson.
No.
Didn't see him at all last week.
I'm curious to see a game where they're behind, 2 scores and they're chasing, how much he gets utilized out of the backfield. But yeah, for right now, no.
Yeah. How about D.D. Westbrook?
No, he was actually a healthy scratch last week.
CD over DD.
Yeah,
CD over DD.
So yeah, DD, get out of my laboratory, DD.
Hey, get out of my fantasy lineup, DD.
I'd rather go with the next guy.
DJ Chuck. I mean, this is Gardner Minshew's favorite. They play tic-tac-toe in between plays.
Yeah, you're dialing up DJ Shark.
They play bags.
I'm running DJ Shark, wide receiver 2 with upside of a 1, I would say, right?
Yeah, I think he's a solid wide receiver too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, then we got Laviska Shenault found the end zone.
I would rather, and you got to carry too. I mean, you know me, I fuck with Laviska Shenault. I like him over D.D. Lamb. I mean, D.D. Westbrook. Yeah, he's someone I'd at least roster. I won't start him, but I like his game. I like his versatility, especially now that James Robinson's a rookie. I'm sure they'll find more ways to do the end arounds and put the ball in his hands. But
For sure, yeah.
Not playing him.
I'm not starting Laviska, but like Dre said, a good guy to have on your bench, you know, because, you know, going forward, we could really see him emerge. You know, him and DJ Chark as it could become a 1A, 1B scenario with them going forward. So, yeah, just a guy to stash on your bench.
And if Chark gets hurt.
And Tyler Eifert.
Negative. Only one catch I think he had.
That's going to be a no for me, dog. Jaguars defense.
Definitely not.
Against the Tannehill time. All right.
Maybe 3 years ago.
Speaking of Tannehill, Ryan Tannehill. Tennessee Titans.
So you were saying it, like all the drafts we did, like he would go undrafted or he'd go in the.
He's still on every waiver wire,
and it's like you kept saying it to me, Mike. Like you're not going to draft your boy Tannehill, and I would be like, because I would get someone else. But he just did what he does. Again, I think it was like 19, 20 points. I mean, his floor is just crazy safe,
consistent,
week in, week out.
Yeah.
He gets you 19 plus points like every single game
on a run friendly team too. So.
But with that being said, the news broke that AJ Brown is out, and you lose a guy like that. I'm going to have to be benching Tannehill.
Bro, they got a Blitznikov. It's your favorite award.
Blitznikov?
You got your boy.
Dude, it's the Blitznikov.
Yeah, I'll be fading Tannehill in this one. But going forward, I think he's a guy where you're definitely going to be streaming him a lot. I think this is a heavy Derrick Henry game. I mean, we've seen it. Derrick Henry has just destroyed the Jaguars in the recent games that he's played against them. So I think you see a big Derrick Henry game here. Obviously, that helps Tannehill because he was really well off of play action. He had the best completion percentage. So I think you see a big game from like Jonnu Smith. But when you don't have a guy like A.J. Brown out there who's a big playmaker, that obviously limits the upside of what Tannehill can bring to the table. So, yeah, I'd be fading Tannehill.
For sure. Well, we can move on to Derrick Henry. You're starting Derrick Henry.
Monster game.
Like
I think
we said,
RB1 this week.
I'm about to start A.J. Brown and George Kittle. Quit playing.
A.J. Brown's
still
out.
A.J. Brown is out, so just let you know.
Yeah, because Cortland's.
Corey Davis was actually a lot more involved. I think you definitely, if he's on your waiver wire, he's like, you should have him out there.
Standard, I would consider starting him if, like you said, you're in a pinch. Since he had 8 targets, 7 catches, 100 yards. It was his first 100-yard game in like a year and
ever.
Well, no, since like I read like November something of 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever. Yeah, no, he looked good. Like contract year. Now he's the only guy they really have to throw the ball to. I mean, they have Khalif. What's his name? Khalif Raymond, but he's more of like a slot guy. So I would for sure try to get him in if he's available as far as free agent, but flex at the most, in standard especially.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver flex guy for me. If you want to take the chance and throw him in, that's your call. I don't know if I would. I'm not sure if having A.J. Brown out is actually going to benefit him. I think having A.J. Brown on the field benefits him because now it's just another weapon that the defense has to account for. But he was available in 2 of my leagues on the waiver wire, and I kind of had an open spot, so I just grabbed him. I'm just going to stash him and hold on to him. He's kind of one of those guys where you had a big week 1, but I kind of need to see it on a more consistent basis before I can trust you.
It's like Sammy.
But, I mean, outside of him and Jonnu Smith, I don't know who's going to receive targets on this team. Wide receiver 3 flex for Corey Davis.
Yeah. So we can move on to Jonnu Smith. I love Jonnu Smith this week.
He's like, I love Jonnu Smith this week.
I think you can also love Jonnu Smith this week.
I love Jonnu Smith this week, yeah, especially with A.J. Brown out. I mean, he's probably just as fast as Corey Davis. So, I mean, he's a matchup problem. Tannehill looked comfortable throwing him the rock. You got a tug.
There he is.
First season being like just the head guy to start the year. Now that Delaney's gone and he did good for the first game, so I fucks with it.
I know you can't really see it on the template, but if you look at him, he's got no neck.
Yeah.
Like his traps are just massive. He's got no neck. It's just crazy.
Dude, do you want to hang out with some of these players or something?
Odell Beckham, bro.
Seem to talk about them being big a lot. I was like, dude, he's so big.
Yeah, he is a
big boy.
Tyler thinks he's such a big boy.
Yeah, I love Jonnu Smith, though. I think he's tight end one this week for sure. Like I said, no AJ. They got to throw the ball to somebody, and it's looking like it's going to be Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith who should lead that passing attack for them.
For sure.
And off of play action, Derrick Henry, sign me up.
Yeah, with it.
All right, we got Titans defense.
Not mad at it.
I mean, I was excited about the Colts defense last week against the Jags. But I don't know, man. Like, you never know with Gardner Minshew. He just shows up and makes shit happen.
Gardner.
Sure. I mean, they did make some big free agent signings. They go get Vic Beasley from the Falcons, and then they got Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney's, I don't know how many snaps he played, but he just got there last week, so I'm expecting him to be more incorporated on this defense. And in a game where I'm expecting Derrick Henry to just run the ball down their throat, you're going to have Gardner Minshew throw to keep up. That gives the defense the ability to just pin their ears back and, rush Minshew. But
I hope he has another 99-yard run and stiff arms the shit out of somebody. But that, I'm down. Cool.
If you're streaming defenses, this is one of my more favorite ones, but we'll
Titans?
See. Lions defense. Or Lions defense. We got the Detroit Lions are playing the Green Bay Packers.
Man.
We're going to start on the Lions side of the ball. It's in Green Bay. Matthew Stafford, he's starting it. Last week, there was 73 points between the Packers and Minnesota.
And he didn't have a good day because I have him. Oh, man. You just reminded me that I have him on my team. God damn it. Yeah, I'm going to start him. I don't have anyone else, actually.
So, I'm going to – who would you rather play, Matt Stafford or Big Ben?
Big Ben.
Yeah.
So the Stafford thing, I would feel more comfortable if Galladay was going to play. Obviously, no Galladay is in the lineup now, so that just limits the upside that Stafford has here. Yeah. So I'd be fading him. I have Stafford in a couple leagues, and I think we all like Stafford going forward. I think it's because we're all pretty high on Galladay as well. But when you lose a guy of Kenny Galladay's caliber and his talent, that obviously impacts the offense as a whole. So, yeah, I'd be fading Stafford. I'm actually going to stream Phillip Rivers over Stafford.
Yeah, and that's a good point, though. Without the weapons, it really limits Matt Stafford.
Yeah, you got Dick Hand, DeAndre Swift dropping balls. Doesn't help either.
Yeah.
Bum.
That being said, DeAndre Swift.
Oh, look at that.
There he is.
But I do like the upside later on, but right now, no. I mean, and he lost in the game, so fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not starting DeAndre Swift. I mean, obviously, he's a bench guy for you. You got to kind of see how this backfield continues to unfold. I mean, it was pretty much a three-man committee over here. You had Carry-On getting like 30%. Swift got, I think, 45%. And then AP got like another 30%. AP gets all the carries. Swift gets some targets. Carry-On didn't do anything. Carry-On shouldn't even be rostered, in my opinion. He's trash.
Yeah, they might fuck around and drop him for real.
Just so crazy.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be playing Swift. He's a bench guy. I guess if there's one guy you want to play, I know Anthony would want to say AP. I mean, he got a ton of carries, 14 carries, I think it was, 3 catches. AP was the main guy there.
And he'll be inside the 5, inside the 10. He's going to be the guy that they're going to go to. So, 30-some-year-old AP, fire him up. I would. He's like, he's a flex.
I'm going to fire up anybody. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, he's a flex option for sure, especially because we said running backs are at a premium as far as if you can get your hands on one. And 100 yards.
I know he was like 70% available in leagues prior to the waiver wire. So if he's out there in leagues still, I'd go get him and just throw him on your bench. Because, finding a running back who's going to get you 12-plus carries in a week is pretty hard to find on the waiver wire. So just go out there and grab him. And then if anything happens to Carry-On or Swift, potentially, AP's, could be the main guy going forward.
Pick him up.
Or let somebody hit you for a trading. You're like, cool.
Kenny Galladay is out again?
Yeah.
So don't drop Kenny Galladay or don't give up on Kenny Galladay. Some people were saying to us, like, oh, Kenny Galladay's dead to me. Like, I'm going to drop him. Yeah, and it's just like,
unless you're in a 6-man league, keep him.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.
You can't be mad at a guy for coming into the season banged up. Obviously, no one really knew about the hamstring injury until week 1, but that's because when you're in training camp, the teams don't have to disclose any injuries. They could just say, like, oh, he missed practice today because of a leg injury. And they don't really have to describe what it is.
Lower body.
Yeah, lower body injury. But now, obviously, that was obviously something that was bothering him in training camp. I personally am a Galladay owner in a couple leagues, and I would rather them let him recover. I don't want them to rush him out there, and then he re-aggravates it, and then now he misses even more. So let him miss another game. Hopefully that he could be good to go by week 3, week 4 at the latest. If you can go out and get Galladay, like maybe you have a Galladay owner who's kind of fed up with it. Maybe they start off 0-2 and they're kind of panicking. If you can go out and get Galladay on the low, I'm making that move 100%.
That's all I was going to say, Coach.
That's how I'm going to say, too.
Yep.
Marvin Jones, are you throwing him in there?
Man.
It's like you were expecting it last week.
So did you see him truck the shit out of that dude?
Oh, no. My God. He just destroyed some guy.
My dude. Really? Oh, my God. Hey, he ran him over like AP in his prime ran kids over. Like, it was impressive, bro. He trucked him into next week, that player. I'll tell you that. With that being said, no.
Are you trucking him into your lineup?
Actually, no, I lied. I will start Marvin Jones. He's more of like a wide receiver 3 flex. And he's viable to go off at any minute. He can get you those 3 touchdowns, or he if there's one thing, he does have a nose for the end zone more than anything else. He's always he gets decent touchdowns, like touchdown catches. So.
By the way, I just typed
he's the
in.
only one.
I typed in Marvin Jones in YouTube, and truck was the first thing that came up. It said Marvin Jones truck.
Oh man,
it's truck stick for sure. Is this
it?
Yeah, dude. It's a third and long too, I think.
Let's see.
And boom goes it.
Goodbye.
Oh,
and then he's like, I'm gonna keep going for.
He's like, let me do it again.
But yeah, if I have Marvin Jones in my lineup, I mean, he played 91% of the snaps. You got no Kenny Galladay there. He got 8 targets. You had the rookie Quintez Cephas. He got 10 targets, but
wild.
I can't imagine a scenario where the rookie, I think he was undrafted, right?
No, he was Quintez Cephas? He was 5th round.
Okay, so yeah, I can't imagine a scenario again where the rookie out targets the savvy veteran. So Marvin Jones to me is a flex guy, but he's got wide receiver 2 upside. Sure. Like I said, he was on the field 90% of the snaps, 8 targets. I think he's a lock for another 8 targets. I'm expecting the Packers to be ahead in this game. Stafford's gonna have to throw a little bit more, and like I said, Marvin Jones is probably one of the better touchdown upsides out of any receiver in the league. So yeah, I would be playing Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
You know who's not playing Marvin Jones? Number 39 for the Bears. He's benching him.
How about that? TJ Hawkinson. Are you playing TJ? He had a good week 1 last year. Decent week 1 this year.
With Galladay, that makes me more inclined to play him. Obviously, if like someone like me who had Kittle, I'd be looking to pick him up if he's available. But I like to play this week with, like we said, Galladay. There's still more targets. Maybe he gets some of those Quintez Cephas targets his way, and maybe he only gets 5 to where Hawk can get a few more. So I like the upside, and like you said, they should be chasing. So he can get another touchdown catch, maybe more yards.
For sure. I mean, 5 targets, 5 catches. He gets you a touchdown. I mean, I think when they get in close, he's got the red zone potential to be the touchdown upside. So yeah, he's a back end tight end one for me, especially with Galladay being out.
All right, Lions defense.
No, sir.
It's going to be a no for me, dog. We'll move on to the Green Bay Packers. We got Aaron Rodgers. I like it.
I like Rodgers. I have Rodgers as a top 5 option this week. I mean, we saw what Trubisky did to this Bears defense. Now you're going to tell me I get Aaron Rodgers, first home game of the season, coming off a 4-touchdown game. Yeah, dial me up. And for whatever reason, I feel like Rodgers just roasts the Lions every time he plays them.
There you go.
Yeah, I like it. Aaron Jones, you're starting him.
Yeah, you're starting Aaron Jones.
Almost had 2 touchdowns. Got one called short, right?
Was he about to double dip? He's going to get more touchdowns than last year.
Definitely not. But no, he's still worth. He's still worth starting. I mean, if their offense can be this high octane, he's just going to be a product of the offense and be worth starting every week. But you're more times than not, you're going to start Aaron Jones anyway, to be honest. So.
All right, then we can move on to
Daniel Jones, the backup quarterback for the Packers.
Sometimes when I put in too many of these templates, it fucks up on this thing. Just talk about.
All right, so yeah,
just talk about Devontae.
You got Devontae Adams. You're dialing him up. I know Anthony had him as his wide receiver 1 overall. I mean, if you have Devontae Adams, just bask in the glory of having a stud. The guy's going to be a savage all year long. So you're starting him up. The question would be, are you going to start Allen Lazard or maybe potentially MVS? They both have a big game. Both scored touchdown. MVS finishes with 96 yards on 6 targets. Lazard only gets 4 targets. Lazard actually played, I think, 70% of the snaps, where MVS only played about 50%.
Yeah.
If I'm playing one of them, to me personally, it's MVS, especially because some reports came out at training camp that Rodgers was talking him up, saying he's really made a progression, and I feel like most of the time receivers, it's your third years when you kind of really pop for some of these receivers.
Yeah, that aren't like high draft picks or
drafted so guys, we could, and he's the deep threat on this team. So yeah, if I'm going to start one, Lazard or MVS, it would be MVS. And going forward, if I want to have one on my team, on my bench, it's MVS for me personally. Me too. I don't know how you feel, Dre.
No, me too. I agree. Just he's more of a burner, like you said. And he can stretch the field, and like you said, everything you said, basically.
If he's out there in your waiver wire, I would try to go grab him and just throw him on your bench because, like I said, if he has another good game, back-to-back good games, he's going to be a hot waiver wire pickup in week 2. But if you go get him now, you can have him on your bench.
And he dropped another touchdown too, or he would have fallen on the 1 maybe, but it was a bomb. So he could have had an even better day with that low snap percentage. So.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But he's still good enough.
Yeah, you guys spoke on Allen Lazard. No tight end in Green Bay.
No tight end.
It's Jay Sternberger.
Yeah,
he had
I'm
one
good.
catch, I think.
Or is it Robert Tonyan? Either way,
That's
they can fucking work it out.
Jace Idiot Burger.
Packers defense, I'm not mad if you want to stream them potentially. Obviously, like I said, there's some better streaming options out there. I know the Rams are out there in 85% of the leagues when the waivers first went through. Like I said, Titans are another good one as well. But I'm not mad at the Packers as a potential stream in Lambeau.
Yeah, they're probably like third or fourth on my streaming defensive list, but for sure, it's not the worst play.
He said faux show.
We got the Buffalo Bills taking on who? Who they taking on?
The Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. I think you can light up Josh Allen. Light it up.
Yeah.
He's about to rush 4 touchdowns this week.
Well, he led the team in rushing last week with 57 yards. And I already told y'all the stat.
Which is gross.
The Bills are undefeated when Josh Allen completes at least 60% of his passes.
Nice.
They win again. He looked good. Threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Dialing up. Yeah, top 5 upside.
For
For
sure.
sure. All right. Devin Singletary. We were a little upset with both these running backs last week. Zach Moss made it in the end zone, but Devin Singletary, are you starting him?
So some numbers here on the Bills running backs because we weren't sure how this piece of the pie was going to get divvied up. We were kind of assuming a running back by committee, and that's exactly what it was, a running back by committee here. You had Singletary play 59% of the snaps. Zach Moss only played 45% of the snaps. But what it was is Singletary's was the 20 to 20 guy, and when they got in the red zone, it was all Zach Moss. Zach Moss had 9 carries, so did Singletary. But 8 of Zach Moss's 9 carries came in the red zone, which was third most among running backs. So when they get in the red zone, it was the Zach Moss show. You did like seeing Singletary get 7 targets. He got you 5 catches. So if you're in a PPR league, you like seeing that. And then Zach Moss, he had 5 opportunities, which means targets or rushes inside the 5. So like I said, Zach Moss is the guy when they get in close, and Singletary seems to be the guy 20 to 20s to move the chains, on the field. With that being said, just kind of going over the numbers of how this backfield got split up and the touches. What's your thoughts on it?
Man, I'm a hard press. I want to find a way to put him in, but the way it looked, and like I said, and then you have to account for Josh Allen in the red zone. So Singletary's, essentially the third option because they'll probably go with Josh Allen to run it in, and we already know he's averaged at least 8 rushing touchdowns. So this week, no, and I would just kind of, keep my ears and eyes open and see how the backfield kind of plays itself out. So, nah.
So no on Devin Singletary and
Not
also no on Zach Moss?
Zach Moss would be like a low-end RB2 for me
more
right there
intriguing.
because he has the touchdown upside, and even Singletary is not a bad flex. If you're in a double flex league, I think you could throw Singletary in there. These guys are kind of dependent on how deep you are at the running back position.
Yeah.
If you've got some studs, obviously you're not going to play them. But if you kind of went like that 0 running back strategy, you went Mahomes, Lamar early, Kelsey Kittle early, went some receivers early, and you have Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, you might have to throw them into your lineups. At least you know that this was kind of a running back by committee. It wasn't one or the other. Like I said, it was Singletary 20 to 20, but then when they got in the red zone, it was all the Zach Moss show. I think if I'm going to pick one or the other, I'm actually going to lean Zach Moss's way because at least he's got me the touchdown upside of when they get in close, they're going to feed him the rock.
100%. Unfortunately, because we both like Singletary too, coming into the season. But fantasy, you definitely want the touchdown upside. You don't want just to be yards, So
Yeah.
Yep.
Singletary more in PPR wise,
Yeah.
half point and standard maybe not, but PPR I think I'm a little more confident in
My
Singletary.
guy, Smokey Brown.
All right, we can move on to John Brown because he's bad Leroy Brown. The baddest man in the whole damn town.
I mean, yeah, John Brown, we said it. I felt like people were sleeping on him because they go out and they get Stephon Diggs. But, we told you, hey, don't sleep on Smokey Brown.
Make him better.
Having a guy like Diggs on the field is probably only going to benefit him because now instead of seeing the number 1 corner on opposing defenses, he gets to go against the second and third best corner. So, yeah, if I have John Brown,
I feel like
he's a wide receiver 3 with wide receiver 2 upside and a flex spot.
I feel like he's
starting pretty much every single week.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say I feel like he's the wide receiver
1B.
1 target, but then he's getting not wide receiver 1 coverage.
Oh yeah,
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I feel like the coverage is going to Stephon Diggs, but he's like the number 1 target there. I feel like
I think
But
it's
I
a
don't know.
1A, 1B to me.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, he actually should have had another touchdown. Josh Allen overthrew him barely on like a 40-yard bomb. So otherwise, and he already had an impressive.
If he got
day.
that, he could have balled.
Yeah. I mean, he already had a good day. So, yeah, he's like a sneaky – and what's funny is whoever has him, like, they never, like, really play him. Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give him to you. Like, so
Try and
anyone
trade for him.
that listens to this, yeah, try and go trade
might
for John
be-
Brown. People are like,
They might be thinking they're selling high, but they don't even know.
yeah, he's so slept on every year. Like he does his thing.
Yeah.
So
Let's move on. Stephon Diggs. You playing Stephon Diggs? I think you could start Stephon Diggs.
He's had a solid day, no touchdown, but
I think the matchup is good for most of these guys.
He should see consistent volume to make him a starter each and every week. I am a little, as a Dolphins fan, we have Byron Jones. We signed him from the Cowboys in the offseason. And then Xavier Howard was on a pitch count last week. I'm kind of curious to see how much more he plays. I do think that kind of limits the upside that these guys could have. So I think the Bills might lean a little more on the rushing attack than throwing the ball. But with that being said, I think you can still start both these guys. I mean, at least a flex consideration for both Diggs and John Brown.
Dude, man.
yeah,
I like it.
I mean, 8 catches, 86 yards. You'll take it with a touchdown in there.
good.
That's a solid day. So
I like it. Buffalo Bills defense. I wouldn't start Dawson Knox, by the way. He's tight in there.
Oh,
no.
against the shitty ass Dolphins? No, I'm just playing.
I'm not mad at the Bills' defense here. I mean, we got Devontae Parker. He's banged up. He's questionable.
They're heavily owned, so it's
so if you have the Bills' defense, I'm not mad at it because the Dolphins
excited.
are pretty banged up, and the Dolphins look pretty bad as a Dolphins fan. So I would be down up the Bills.
Yeah, the Dolphins
I'm
aren't
being
good.
unbiased right now.
Fitz might throw his old team a couple picks. You never know.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, we could jump into the Dolphins.
Oh,
I
shit.
personally don't know if I would start any of these Dolphins. You're not starting Fitzpatrick, so you can just swing by him. Devontae Parker, our best offensive weapon,
Hurt.
He's hurt. He's got the hamstring. He's questionable. But even if he's out there,
Whack him.
he's going to see a shadow from Tre'Davious White, most likely, who's one of the most he's like an elite premier cornerback. He got
First team
paid.
All-Pro.
He got paid. Yeah, he's like an all-pro cornerback. I think it was something crazy. Like out of all the snaps he played, he didn't give up a single touchdown in coverage last year. I could be wrong on that.
No, it's something like that.
It's something crazy like that. So Devontae Parker already banged up. Going to see a shadow from Tre'Davious White potentially. He's a high risk, high reward flex guy, but I would be trying to find other options if I could. And then even the same for Preston Williams. I just think that this Bills defense could be a little too much for this Miami offense to handle. I can't imagine our running backs do any good. I'm not starting Gaskins. I'm not starting Jordan Howard. I'm not starting Breida. The only Dolphin that I would even consider starting is Mike Gesicki. Obviously, if you have a George Kittle and you kind of need to pivot, Gesicki was pretty widely available in leagues. He lined up in the slot 76% of the time. So, like we always talk about Gesicki, he's not really a tight end in terms of blocking. He's an oversized wide receiver. He did have 5 targets. That was second most on the team last week behind Preston Williams. So, if there is no Devontae Parker, let's say he sits out, then you're going to get Tre'Davious White on Preston Williams. He's pretty much going to blanket Preston Williams to me. Preston Williams just lacked the ability to create separation and get open last game. And we kind of saw what Fitz does. He's willing to just chuck it in the air.
To any team.
A guy like Gesicki, if Devontae Parker sits, a guy like Gesicki is someone I feel like has back end, tight end 1 numbers, because his touchdown upside is pretty high.
Touchdown upside.
And if you have like a George Kittle and you're kind of scrambling, there's no one there, I wouldn't mind streaming Gesicki this week.
I like it.
That's coming from a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. Dolphins defense.
Definitely not.
No. Not this week. Sorry. Sorry, man.
We got the Vikings are taking on the Colts. It's
It's the last game of the morning games.
Yeah, there's the last game of the morning
These
games.
episodes are kind of long with no bye weeks, man.
I know.
This is my logic on what I'm going to say about this guy. Gardner Minshew had 95% completion percentage against the Colts. I'm actually going to fuck with Kirk Cousins this week. Low in QB1, but I feel like, Dalvin didn't run particularly well, had a couple tugs, but I feel like their offense will kind of take a step forward. So I would actually take Kirk Cousins. I feel like he's going to have one of those, like, maybe not high yards, but he can sneak in 3 passing touchdowns. I think this could be a shootout.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Last year was his best year in terms of like passer rating, completion percentage. I think it was really well for Kirk Cousins right there. The upside isn't really there for me, so he's a potential streaming option. But yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying there. I agree.
You're
If
posing
Gardner
a good
Minshew could do
argument.
that, then Kirk Cousins, savvy veteran, he could be pretty highly efficient with his passes.
He's not gonna do that 350, but he'll get you some tugs, I think.
What about Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, you're dialing him up.
I'm gonna be spicy. I'm gonna throw him on my flex.
Well, that's fine. Well, then your RB2's gonna suck, or RB4.
Yeah, you're playing Dalvin Cook.
Alexander
Thielen.
Madison would be a guy too. Got a good amount of touches last week. Just if he's on the waiver wire for whatever reason, just go out and get him. But
True. You
Yeah.
need to put him in the lineup.
But yeah, Adam Thielen, kind of, it was so funny. For the longest time in the first quarter, I was like looking at the stats, and it would be like Kirk Cousins 2 for 2, and just look at Adam Thielen, it's like 2 catches, 32 yards, and like that's just his guy. I think Thielen gets just funnel
loves him.
targets again.
Dude, bald.
Big game from Thielen, 2 touchdowns, ton of catches. Thielen's a set it and forget it for me each and every week. And if you have Adam Thielen, he was one of my favorite third-round receivers to go get. Yeah, you're going to be happy all year long because they really have no one else to throw the ball to.
Yeah. As long as he can stay healthy, 100%, he's going to get – and you can put your number one on him. Yeah, he just seems to get open. He runs good routes. I mean, they just scheme him open really well. Whatever they do, he seems to be efficient. So
I love these chip on their shoulder receivers, but yeah.
Oh, BB?
Throw him in, Adam Thielen. We don't have any other receivers there.
No, it's all good. Irv Smith,
Irv
nah.
Smith Jr., I don't think you're doing it.
Yeah, no.
What about Kyle Rudolph?
No, they
He's
split
got,
snaps.
if you need a dart throw, I guess he's got some touchdown upside, but I probably am not starting any of these tight ends.
Yeah.
I think each and every week you're pretty much starting Adam Thielen
Listen.
as a pass catcher for the Vikings. And
I didn't know if he was trying to say pass catching
Butt
option
Yeah, that's
or
good.
pass catcher. So I was like, he's gonna say it. He's gonna get there.
Watch it, pass
Yeah,
catcher,
sound
pass
like me.
catcher. Yeah, it'd be Adam Thielen every week for me, and then outside of that, I want nothing to do with any of these other pass catching options for the
Well, dude,
Minnesota Vikings.
don't yell at me, dude.
My
I'm just a
bad.
guy. That was my little Zan impression. All right, Minnesota Vikings defense.
No.
No.
It's gonna be no for me, dog. The
This was
Vikings
Anthony's sneaky bottom 5 defense.
Yeah,
He
dude,
thinks they're gonna finish
Vikings
the
are
bottom 5.
not.
They lost
good.
Daniil Hunter, who was their Pro Bowl defensive end. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for.
And they no longer have Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, they have 3 brand new corners. One of the youngest secondaries in the league, and it showed last week. So yeah, I'll be fading.
And
the
it showed 70-something points last week. Packers, Vikings. Okay. That's a lot of points. Okay. We got Indianapolis Colts. This is the last team of this episode, boys and girls. Phillip Rivers. I like it this week, actually. Like you just said, 3 corners, brand new. Never played NFL.
Yeah, Philip
Okay.
Rivers is my favorite streaming option this week. I mean, we just saw. I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, but we just saw what Aaron Rodgers did to this Minnesota Vikings defense last Sunday. Colts first game at home in the Dome in Indianapolis. So yeah, dial me up some Philip Rivers. I mean, you got a ton of weapons, great offensive line. Like I said, it doesn't hurt the Colts that now the Vikings lose their Pro Bowl defensive end, Daniil Hunter. That's only going to make things even easier for Philip Rivers. And, his ability to spread the ball around to T.Y. We saw Paris Campbell have a breakout game. These running backs out of the backfield were highly efficient. 17 targets to the running backs and 17 catches. So 100% completion percentage when he was throwing to the running backs. It's phenomenal.
That's pretty wild.
So, yeah, I do like Philip Rivers a lot in this matchup. Like I said, my favorite streaming option. I'm streaming him in 3 leagues because I paired Goff and Stafford in a ton of leagues for some reason. And, yeah, that's what I got to say.
That's Galladay's fault. That's Galladay's fault.
Oh, my God. Naeem Hines.
I like Naeem Hines. I think if you
Flex?
I know people keep bringing up the comparison of like the Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler scenario now, but now it's in Indy. And I think that's it. I mean, he had 8 catches on 8 targets. He only had like 7 rushes, but I mean, that's not really his game.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine a scenario where Jonathan Taylor is just the workhorse now and they throw Naeem Hines on the bench. If you look at week 1, it was Marlon Mack and Naeem Hines who were in the game. And then Jonathan Taylor, I don't think really got a carry until Marlon Mack got hurt.
Yeah.
So I think this will still be at least 60-40, maybe even more 50-50 split going forward. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor's, the bruiser kind of back, goal line guy. But I do think Naeem Hines, we've seen Philip Rivers. He loves throwing to the running backs. And, does Naeem Hines get another 6 catches this game? I think so.
Yeah.
So PPR-wise, I love Naeem Hines.
I like it.
Yeah, I think this is more Phillip Rivers' like knack to find the running back. So I feel like he could sustain both. I think Taylor can do his own shit as far as, between the tackles or whatever, outside, whatever as far as running. But how you're saying, Phillip Rivers finds a running back. So I think he could keep Hines and Mack in the lineups.
Hines?
Both of them, yeah.
Hines the new Eckler?
Hines, I mean, he looked good. 2 tugs. Eight catches, 8 targets, man. It's
Yeah, I mean, I know Anthony kind of, he dove into some information a year or two ago, and he kind of noticed the correlation of, when a team targets the tight ends heavy, the running back targets are kind of lower, and then vice versa. When the running back targets are higher, the tight end targets are low. Jack Doyle just came out. Jack Doyle is going to be out. Trey Burton's on IR, so they have Mo Ali Cox. He could come in there and get a couple targets, but if that statistic stays true to what Anthony found about the tight end targets and the running back targets, swinging one way more than the other. Like I said, last week, 17 targets, 17 catches to the running back position. We could see another 15 catches to the running back split between Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines. So I think they both have safe floors. And then obviously Jonathan Taylor's got a ton of touchdown upside as well.
for sure. And there's always value in Hines being able, Naheem Hines being able to be his own, be startable within himself. And if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, that only boosts him. So he's like a startable player with even more upside, and he doesn't need an injury. Yeah. He can already be.
We had someone. It was first week of the waiver wires. We're in a Fab league. If you don't know what Fab is, it's free agent acquisition bidding.
Oh, did you get him?
So I did not. So
did you offer what you sent me?
So
wow.
You get 100 points. So it's a blind bid. So you got to bid against everybody. You don't know what everyone's bidding, but you only get $100 to spend. $100, doll hairs or whatever.
That's a lot of
to
doll
spend.
Hairs.
I put 65 on, which I thought was a lot, and I showed Andre. I was like, "Am I overdoing it?" And he was just like, do what you gotta do." So I thought I was gonna get him. I was wrong. Someone put all $100
You're
to
kidding.
go get Naheem Hines.
See, they're dumb.
So that's just how
you're
confident
dumb.
they
Get Naheem
were
Hines,
in
but
him.
also don't do that.
But if you're getting a guy of like an Austin
dumb.
Eckler type on the waiver wire, I don't think it's a bad scenario to kind of blow your load and be like, "Hey, I just want to get this guy. I don't want anyone else to get him."
That's fine if you can see the future, but that guy cannot see the future.
Well, now if he gets an injury and
his
needs
team
somebody,
is pretty solid. I'll get to his team is pretty solid across the board. So he's just looking for even more depth to add to it. So I think he kind of had the right deal. But I'm just saying that's how much some people believe in Naheem Hines and his ability to be successful.
He was coveted. He was coveted that much, huh? Yeah. Break the bank? 100? Would you have done 100? I mean, obviously not because you didn't.
No.
But dude, yes.
If you wouldn't do it yourself, I don't know why you would defend somebody who did that.
I did 65.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, I get it. I understand. I just don't agree.
Yeah.
But I don't understand.
Yeah, I think you're dialing both these guys up.
I don't know. I'm in a Fab league for the bidding or whatever, and we have 1,000, and someone has $1 left already, and it's like,
you guys have 1,000?
Yeah, it's 1,000 Fab. So just
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In that case, Naheem Hines is worth at least $750.
No, but that's what I mean is this guy already has $1 left. I'm like, bro, we only spent $30, and we still have depth, and we got
don't give
picked
him
up Myles Gaskin as a bet. I don't know.
Hey, don't give him real money. He'll run through that shit too. Then watch
yeah,
out.
but you play Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines this week. I like it.
For sure.
Paris Campbell. I actually really like Paris Campbell this week.
Yep, I'm starting Paris Campbell flex. We're at flex, standard league, PPR, whatever. I'm gonna run with it. Targets I don't think are going anywhere. I think it's more of a TY game, but Paris Hilton doesn't need that much. He can do a 40-yard deep ball.
You said Paris Hilton?
Did I say Paris Hilton? Paris Campbell? I don't know. Paris Hilton can't do none of that shit, but Paris Campbell can.
Yeah, Dre, this was your guy. This was your second-year breakout guy. You were hammering him all in the offseason and the draft season. And it just shows that, we do run a fantasy podcast, so I like to think that we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Sometimes.
But, yeah, Paris Campbell comes out, has a monster game, 82% of the snaps played. That was actually most out of any positional player on the Colts. So he was on the field more than any other receiver, running back, tight end. Paris Campbell was. And then just a number that I thought was interesting here is that 95% of his snaps were from the slot. And when you think of what Phillip Rivers does, and we kind of talked about how, is Naheem Hines going to be the Austin Eckler? Rivers likes to lean on the running backs. Well, Rivers would lean on the slot guy Keenan Allen for years and years.
All day.
We would see Keenan Allen just get peppered with targets each and every single week. Well, if you're telling me Paris Campbell's lining up in the slot 95% of the time, he got 9 targets lining up in the slot. Sign me up all day. To me, I think Paris Campbell is a set it and forget it guy now going forward because, like I said, if he's going to be the Keenan Allen, I guess you could say, for Phillip Rivers in this offense, sign me up all day, And he was widely available on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
So if he's out there for sure, so maybe no one wants to go get him. Go grab him because I think he's in store for another big game this week.
I didn't get any shares of Paris Campbell. I'm kind of mad.
I had him and I dropped him.
Well, you're about to get dropped after this.
Thanks, Dukes. I picked him up.
Yeah.
I'm starting
Did you?
this week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's and
Tyler.
and
I
ran a
beat you every week. Sorry.
Dude,
Yeah.
here's the funny
You guys
thing.
play
You
every
dropped
week?
him
That's a
this week,
terrible
and
league.
now I'm going to use him to beat you
No,
this week.
I dropped him
because I
last
play you.
week.
Oh,
I
that's
dropped
what
him
I mean.
last
I
week.
know, but I picked
Chill
him
out.
up, and now I play you this week.
Yeah, but I dropped him
Now-
last week, so don't act like
So now
I
I'm
watched
about
the
to beat
game
you
and
with the guy
just
you
dropped him.
dropped.
No, but he's saying he's gonna pick him up now.
Quit smiling over there.
Me, I'm not
dude.
smiling.
Tyler is. I heard him.
dude.
Yeah, no, and he's got 4.3 speed, so not only can he beat you in the slot, he can go over the top. He's our fastest receiver they have. He just happens to line up in the slot. You know, where Keenan Allen's more of like a technician with his routes. He's doesn't have breakaway speed. Paris Campbell got that speed.
Go get Paris Campbell.
Yeah.
It's probably available in the timeout league.
T.Y. Hilton, are you starting him?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm dialing him up.
T.Y. Hilton, I feel like you have to. Jack Doyle, we said he's out.
Jack Doyle's out.
Well, Doyle rules.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Colts defense. Also, Michael Pittman Jr. Wait.
No, yeah, just wait and see with him. Till
He was
he's
still
6.
involved a little bit, but, you know.
Yeah. Colts D. Fuck, man.
No, like you just said, if you think Kirk Cousins is going to be efficient,
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
you
no.
can't, turnovers might be at a premium, and there's better streaming options. So I'd
Yeah.
be fading the Colts in this one.
Los pinche Colts.
All right, that's all we got, huh, boys?
Oh, look at that. Under an hour and 51 minutes.
That's a lot of time.
What are we
Anyways,
averaging? 5 games per hour?
I don't know. We started slowing down towards the end there. Anyways,
12,
He
minutes,
means
this is-
speeding up.
12 minutes per matchup.
He's meaning speeding up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
no. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
It is. These matchups are long to get through, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel like we're trying to, cut time. We're trying to trim the fat on, saying hey, start him, sit him.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't want to, never mind.
It is just a lot of matchups to go through. But like Mike said, I guess if you already listened this far, you already listened to everything. But everything will be in the
Yeah.
timestamps.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Check us out on our live streams, dude.
Yeah,
They've
The
been-
next episode, we'll be going over the afternoon games, the Sunday night and Monday night game. That one will be that one should be shorter. Only 5 games, I think, to go over in
Yeah.
that one. So that one should only be about an hour.
Hour and
Chill.
47 minutes. Trim some fat.
yeah, we got to figure out I don't know.
No, man,
We'll
hey.
figure something out.
So hey, sometimes Rome wasn't built in a day, coach.
Hey,
Sometimes
12,
you got to
12 minutes
excavate.
per matchup isn't that bad though.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at 6 minutes per team.
Yeah,
I feel like
man.
that's not that bad.
All right.
Hey, listen, man. The moral of the story
Anyways.
is shit needs to be said.
Yes. Thank you
And
for
we're here to say
listening. This has been the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Season 3, Episode 48. And us big boys are out.
Done.